Center.
Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb not attending the team's mandatory minicamp this week. He wants a new contract from the Cowboys as he goes into the final year of his rookie deal. By the way, Micah Parsons is in attendance. Christian McCaffrey has a new contract today. 49ers ripped up the old one, replaced it with a new 4-year deal. $19 million per year, about $3 million higher than his old one.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
It's Tuesday.
Is it now?
It is.
It's been Tuesday all day, huh?
It really has. It's been a long day, though, already. A lot of stuff you got to squeeze into the morning sometimes.
You showed up for work today at 1 o'clock.
Well, I know, but I had a lot of stuff to do before that.
You want to hear about Joe's day? Raise your hand if you want to hear about Joe's day.
Everybody wants to hear about my day. Got up early this morning. Had to go make it to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do that. Got to, you're old as I am. You got to stay in shape.
I'm glad that that's a priority for you.
It is. It is. Get my, argue with Ray for a little bit.
I mean, you don't get any work in. That's your show prep is hearing Ray's opinions on everything, and your head explodes early.
It does because
Ray's a smart guy.
Well, Ray is a big LeBron slurper.
Okay.
Right. So, and I appreciate that.
And what does LeBron have to do with anything today?
Because it always seems to come up.
Well, so does Dak Prescott, whether you're talking about him or not.
Well, yeah.
Slurper's the word, huh?
Slurper, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got a hose with a power squirter.
It's different.
Yeah.
Than slurping.
Yes. One squirts, one slurps. I mean, it's depending on what kind of mood you're in, I suppose.
Weather like today, a 7-Eleven Slurpee would be fantastic.
Speaking of that,
what?
Dude, I went to Sonic today.
Yeah, I know.
Got an unsweet iced tea with strawberries in it. It was fantastic.
Really?
That was an option on their menu. It was really good.
I'll take your word for it. I tend not to like the flavored iced teas.
No? Well, this had actual chunks.
Well, sure.
Of strawberry in it.
Sure.
It was good.
But doesn't that make it strawberry flavored iced tea at that point?
Well, yeah, sure. And then when you eat the chunks and they clog up your straw, that's a problem.
There's a joke there, too.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
I mean, that's a problem for who?
Well, for me, because
yes. Yeah. All right, careful.
Yeah.
But that's not what we really want to talk about.
What are we talking about?
Joe and I are going to spend the next 4 hours together in a little room. And Joe shows up with a, 1.5 foot long chili cheese dog from Sonic.
Foot long.
Foot long?
Yeah.
That looked bigger than a foot.
It was a foot.
All right. Of chili cheese dog from Sonic.
Hadn't had that in a while. It's really good.
I haven't had that in a while either. And they are really good.
Yeah.
I just hope that it doesn't hit you until, 7 o'clock tonight.
Well, I don't think it will.
Let Maggie enjoy that if it hits you. I don't want to enjoy the benefits if that hits the stomach wrong.
Do chili cheese dogs give you gas or what? If my experience is they don't.
I have a pretty sturdy stomach. But there are certain things, I'm very particular on where I eat chili, especially. And I've had Sonic's chili before. It's fine. It hasn't affected me in that way. But sometimes, and again, it depends. I don't know. Did you have broccoli at your dinner last night? Because then you get broccoli and you've got chili.
No broccoli.
All right.
Now that's bad.
That could be bad.
Well, yeah, no, it is.
That could be really bad for me right now. For me,
it really could. Well, what the hell did you have for lunch?
What did I have? Oh, Taco Cabana.
Well, and you're worried about me?
I had two 2 beef tacos and chips and queso.
It's Taco Cabana.
Taco Cabana.
Yeah.
That's perfectly
with or
fine.
without rats? I'm just wondering.
What do you mean?
Wasn't that the problem with Taco Cabana?
Well, there was that one location on
roaches?
Bandera. No, I think it was rats. But I mean, they're fine.
Okay.
It's extra protein.
Good
Lord.
Oh, the poop?
I mean,
do you notice every restaurant now has that black box thing sitting outside?
Sure.
I guess that's mandatory. Huh?
Well, I believe it is, and it keeps them outside as opposed to inside.
Well, it keeps them inside that little black box.
Well, they're dead in there.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, people check in, they don't check out.
That's a good thing.
You realize, I mean, you're dealing with restaurants. It's food. It's all the other stuff. There's dumpsters that attracts rats. As long as they're on the outside of the building, I'm fine.
I'm good with that too. Yeah. I have no problem with it.
Delivery trucks show up, boxes, sometimes they bring them. I remember when I was working for the Colonel when I was in high school, they would show up that way.
That wasn't to work for the Colonel.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Was he a good boss?
He was a great boss back then. It was fantastic.
All right.
Learned a lot of things about how not to do life while working for the Colonel.
The Colonel. Well, it's been a good day.
I could tell some stories.
Oh, I'm sure. I never worked fast food as a kid.
Really?
No, I didn't.
What about as an adult?
Well, did you consider pizza? Is that fast food?
Were you the delivery guy?
No. I actually at a period in between my Motorola stint and getting into the media, I worked as a manager for a Mr. Gaddy's.
Really?
Yes.
All right. And you took a pay cut to go to radio?
I did. Yes, a big one.
Because it's a far better life.
Dude, well, it is, except I don't know. I worked there for about a year, and I bet I gained 75 pounds.
Really?
Yes.
That doesn't surprise me.
Dude, I mean,
but it's called quality control.
There's food all over the place.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, it was a Mr. Gaddy's way on Pecan Valley Drive.
Did you pay for the food or did you steal it?
No, I didn't steal it. It was there.
Did you pay for it or did you steal it?
No. See, it's one of the perks of the job.
Man, I was a naive 16-year-old working at KFC. And I learned how to steal very early on in life.
Nice.
And it really, I mean, honestly, it's from management down. You would ring up like you would know the prices. It was all basically cash then, not credit card.
Right.
The only thing that you kept count of was chicken. So all the sides, there was no real inventory on it. So, if somebody ordered the 15-piece or the 21-piece family dinner, you just ring up the chicken only. And then when you're counting out your drawer, we split everything.
Damn.
And then about 9:15, we would always drop a whole lot of chicken that you wouldn't eat because you closed at 10. And all the chicken that was left, that's what you would take home. I mean, because I was in a military town, so it's not like it was a bunch of kids working there. It was a combination of kids and military wives, and that's how they fed their family.
Wow.
Yeah, it was interesting. But and the extra money was like, all right, everybody counted. And we split everything.
What,
I had no idea.
Know about this?
Well, no, until the district manager busted everybody.
Well, yeah.
You'll live and you learn.
You live and learn. Hopefully you had enough to get you through.
I was fine. But yeah, there's a lot of things you learned about the restaurant business then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not one of the things that I would say is you learn how to steal. I mean, I don't know. Let's see.
I learned a lot about life of what not to do.
Yeah.
This ain't worth it. When management type people were getting fired for stealing, the rest of the employees were fine because I mean, the manager is the one that would count out the money every night and then give everybody their cut. It started on day one. I used to just think that's how it was.
Wow.
$3.35 an hour or whatever it was, plus, whatever was. I mean, there were signs by the register. If they order this is what you ring up. And here's the change in how you give it because the register is not going to reflect it. I didn't know any better at the time. Like
my apologies to all the people that used to work for me at Mr. Gaddy's.
Yeah. You could have been a good boss.
I didn't teach you how to steal. So sorry.
Well, and I mean, some other stuff too that I could get into that may or may not get in trouble, but you know how different food suppliers would come, and the guy that would bring like the vegetables and the stuff to make the coleslaw and all that, he had other stuff that he would deliver too that our manager would also sell there that would probably get you in a lot of trouble.
Probably
it was green, but yeah, there was a lot of that going through that store too.
Wow.
Yes.
Boy, the fast food industry.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed my time there, though. Learned a lot.
You're such a liar.
The money was great. It really was.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest part, you had to make the dough every day or at night, and then it would rise over, right, and be ready for the next day.
And you still can't make a pizza.
Dude, we had the best lunch buffet of any Mr. Gaddy's in this city. I just want you to know that.
Oh, did you now? What was different about your lunch buffet?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about money-wise. More people came. You know, we would make a lot of money at lunchtime.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what extras did you have there, sir?
It was my leadership and the quality of the employees.
Yeah, it can't be, because I think about my old manager, his leadership, but he also sold other things there so people would come by.
I didn't do that.
Yes. Remember the code word, I need extra jalapenos.
Oh.
And,
that was a baggie?
It was. All cash.
How many extra jalapenos would you like?
I had no idea what was going on either.
What the hell's going on in Copperas Cove?
You would be surprised. You would be surprised.
Oh, my goodness.
Coming up, Robert Horry, 7-time NBA champ, former Spur. Robert Horry is going to join us about 2:35. Let's talk about the future of the Spurs as we get closer to the NBA draft. Options all on the table for the San Antonio Spurs, and you get draft experts throwing all kinds of spaghetti on the wall.
Yeah.
Let's laugh or dissect some of these coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM.
Look at you. You're a man. You work hard, you sweat hard, and then you smell hard. Just as God intended. Introducing a better way to fight your manly body odor with Mendo Whole Body Deodorant. Mendo takes a different approach to body odor. Instead of waiting for it to happen and covering it up, Mendo's acidified technology blocks body odor before it starts anywhere on your body. That's right, anywhere. Pits, privates, and feet. Mendo is clinically proven to block body odor all day and continue to control BO for 72 hours. Our cologne quality scents will enhance your manliness without being overpowering. Plus, it comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, so there are no risks. Not that you have any problem taking risks. Hasta la vista, stench. Try Mendo Whole Body Deodorant today. Go to shopmando.com and use code 1010 for an extra $5 off a Mendo starter pack. That comes with a solid stick, cream tube, 2 free products of your choice, and ships free with code 1010. Shopmando.com, code 1010 for an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack. That's shopmando.com, code 1010.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here from my good friends at Connecticut. You know, living in South Texas, growing up in San Antonio, it's been a great place to be because, well, we love the land, we love the people, and boy, do we love our water. That aquifer water, it makes some good sweet tea and some fine beer, but I'll tell you what comes out of the ground we do not want in our glasses, and that's where Connecticut comes in. The finest water treatment system you can get around these parts, designed and built in the United States. It is made in America for you, San Antonio, for me. I've been a Connecticut customer for years, and now's the chance for you to be one without any risk. Call Connecticut today at 656-PURE. That's 656-PURE. And the good folks Connecticut are going to come out to your home, put one in your house for the next 90 days. So you can find out what the rest of us already know, that we have a water softener designed and made with South San Antonio in mind. Call Connecticut today at 656-PURE. Get a Connecticut in your home for the next 90 days. You're going to be like me, a Connecticut customer. You know what you're going to do? You're going to thank me later.
ConnecticutSA.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
You want another way to add excitement to watching the NBA playoffs? Jason Minix here. Let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. It is a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports, especially playing the pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your pick'em entry, and all you have to do is select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. It is fantasy and it is legal in Texas. So get started by going to the easy-to-use Underdog Fantasy mobile app or go to the website underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry and a deposit offer. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, sign up using my promo code STAR at underdogfantasy.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. NBA Finals get underway on Thursday. Game 1, Mavs Celtics. Of course, The Blitz is going to be live at the Roo Pub on Thursday from 2 to 6. You'll be able to listen to the game here on 94.1 if you're not at a place like the Roo to watch the game. We'll talk about the NBA Finals coming up in about 15 minutes. The great Robert Horry will join us here on The Blitz.
Looking forward to that, because my one memory that tops all the rest of Robert Horry is when Steve Nash went 3 rows deep, when Horry just knocked the crap out of him. I loved it.
So hopefully it will be sooner rather than later when we're talking about the Spurs back in the NBA Finals.
You would hope so.
Instead, we're talking about the Spurs in the draft, and they're at the top of the draft. And there's so much stuff that's being said about the San Antonio Spurs right now, because there's so many options on the table. And quite frankly, nobody that doesn't work in the Spurs front office has a clue what the Spurs are going to be doing. So there's a guy out there named Jonathan Giovanni, I think is how you say his last name. He's NBA draft analyst at ESPN. He does draftexpress.com. He is as well connected as they are. On NBA on ESPN, he talked about the Spurs maybe even trading up to number 1.
They're exploring a lot of different scenarios at this stage, including the possibility of trading down or acquiring another pick. They have a lot of tough decisions to make this offseason with Trey Murray, with DeJounte Murray. You hear, teams like San Antonio possibly exploring the idea of packaging the 4th and 8th pick, maybe to move up to number 1. We have to see how the conversation around Darius Garland plays out. The NBA is at an inflection point right now, and there's a lot that's going to come to a head on June 26th.
I'm not sure exactly what he said there, but
I'm guessing he got some names wrong, and I won't fault him for that. But you hear, all right, Spurs might take 4 and 8 to trade up with Atlanta for number 1. Okay. Might. Or they could stay at 4-8. Or they could 4-8 and go get themselves a Darius Garland. Or they could, I mean, well, you, me, and Pledge could sit at the Roo Pub and come up with all these different scenarios. What are you actually hearing? And I'm not hearing from anybody that they're actually hearing anything, which is a little bit more concerning for me when it comes to my idea of trade those picks to bring in a veteran type of player. Because I know that if we're hearing the Spurs are having that conversation, they're not hearing it from somebody within the Spurs organization, but whoever they might be talking to, Cleveland, they might say, well, you know, we've got this package on the table, you know, because I also saw that there's two guys on the Spurs, Wemby and Vassell, that are considered untouchable. All right. Again, don't we all kind of know that? Although I would say Wemby is the only untouchable, that if you had to part ways with Devin Vassell to get the veteran guy that you're looking for, and it would have to be a superstar. I'm not letting Devin Vassell walk for nothing, but so Vassell is touchable, but it's got to be a nice return. I'm not just giving away for a bag of chips. I'm not going all Bill O'Brien and, hey, Arizona, here's DeAndre Hopkins for a Dr. Pepper and a bag of Doritos.
You got Devin Vassell in a little glass box. It says break in case of emergency. And that's where I would put him. Only if it was something that you just couldn't live without. I hope, this is not anything new, but I hope the Spurs use one of those draft picks that they have, 4 or 8, to bring in a veteran, some veteran help. And it's going to be interesting to hear what Robert Horry has to say about that and what his thoughts are on it. And we'll go from there. But I just think that it's time, and it drives me insane when I see on Twitter or different places how we just got to be patient. And I'm done being patient. I'm sick of it. I had to sit through a stupid tank year.
We all did. You weren't alone. You weren't alone.
Worked out.
You weren't alone.
And then I had to sit through another year that nobody expected of suckage. And so I'm tired of sucking.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're lying.
No.
Yes.
Why would I lie?
Well, because you said you didn't expect another year of suckage. You were the only one.
Well, that's true.
That works here at this radio station that thought they were going to go under the win total.
I was willing to be wrong.
You made fun of people like me that thought, well, they could get 20 more wins because, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you were ready. You actually, I'll give you credit. Don't lie to us now, because last year you were like, I don't know, all you guys are nuts if you think the Spurs are going to be that much better just because they've added a 7-foot tall dude from France.
Well, I appreciate that.
So, I mean, yeah.
But
so don't lie to us
it.
now. Well, yes, you did, but you expected it. You predicted it.
I did.
I didn't. I'm ready to not sit through another year like this.
Which leads me to my point exactly. You draft 4 and you drafted 8. Guess what? Those guys are going to take a lot of time to get ready. They're not going to come in here and have an immediate impact on anybody. I don't care who it is. There's nobody in this draft that is going to make an immediate impact on the Spurs team or anybody else's. And so I don't want to sit through that. Yes, draft a guy. If you want to have a point guard of the future, perhaps a guy that can sit behind ex-veteran and learn from that veteran, that's great. As long as everybody's on the same page, you know that Victor Wembanyama is the man, and he needs to be the man. And your job, if you come in here as a veteran, to know that he is the man and you're not, and that's the way it's got to be.
I would like to think, because I've seen all kinds of different quotes from all kinds of different people that don't have names on them. And I understand the business. I understand how sources work. And yes, it pisses me off too. Put your name on it. But I'm curious when I see a source that said that veteran players all want to come play with Wemby, because I don't believe that to be true, because ego gets in the way. Ego gets in the way. Don't ever say it's not about money. It's always about money, playing time, and ego. There are players out there that would rather be the top guy on a bad basketball team because they want to be that guy than be a part of a team that goes and wins a championship. And when you look at, say, this year's NBA Finals, you're looking at a guy in Kyrie that has accepted, you know what? Luka's the guy. I'm going to be the best role player I can be. Kyrie wasn't that way when he had to break up with LeBron in Cleveland because I want to go do my own thing with my own team.
Yeah,
and it didn't work in Boston. It didn't work in Brooklyn. He got to Dallas, and he's a different player because he's finally accepted that. So for a veteran player like that wants to come to San Antonio, despite what he might say, he's got to mentally be ready to say, you know what, that kid right there, everything goes through him.
Depending on who that player is, and of course everybody's talking Darius Garland or somebody young like that, and he still is. But a guy like that, I think, is a guy that could fit that role. But if you're talking about a veteran like a Kyrie Irving, eventually you've made all the money. You've made a ton of money. Maybe not all you're going to make, but you've made a ton of money. And it does. Your mindset changes where I don't have to be the man anymore. I want a ring.
Yep.
I want another ring.
Legacy.
I want to win championships. And believe it or not, these players, although they do care about money, they do have huge egos. It comes to a point where you want to win championships. Robert Horry was one of those guys, although he's got plenty. But he came to San Antonio at a time where
he was chasing more rings.
Plenty of money. He had rings. But yet he comes here because he wanted to play with Tim Duncan, the team that they had assembled here. And he made a huge difference in 2 championships for this city.
You think about some of the greats that Robert Horry played with. And yeah, he understood where he was and what he brought to a basketball team. And again, and we'll talk about it with Robert Horry coming up in about 10 minutes, but the idea of what the Spurs need to do and the different quotes and different sound that you hear, Draft Express, Jonathan Giovanni. So the one we played earlier, that was what he said on the NBA on ESPN. On the Ringer podcast with Kevin O'Connor, he talked about the Spurs offseason approach.
I think they want to win. Everything that I hear is that they want to be competitive next year. They want to be in the playoffs. And so they're not looking to make this, like a 2-3 year process where they're in the lottery again next year. They're trying for Cooper Flag. They're tanking games at the end. I don't think that that's something that, maybe that ends up being what happens, but I think for right now, they want to be competitive next year. And that's why I think they're going to be aggressive with that, with those picks 4 and 8, maybe looking to trade for a veteran, is a guy like Darius Garland. Is he someone that they look at? There's been a lot of chatter about that. And I expect that they're going to look at, I've heard that really nobody on their roster is untouchable except for Victor and Devin Vassell. And so they have some pieces there that they could possibly look to move and future picks also. So I don't think that they're going to be happy if they're, picking 4th in a year from now again.
The truth is, I think the best fit for all of these prospects is probably Victor Wembanyama, right?
Definitely. And every free agent, all the veteran guards that are going to be in the market, they all want to play with Victor.
Do they? Same guy, 2 different shows. Sounded like he was talking to 2 different people, right?
Yeah.
Everything is on the table, and it just tells me Spurs are being the Spurs. Nobody has any idea of what they are actually going to do.
I can't wait to find out what they're going to do, and I really hope that either before the draft or that night that we will hear of a move that was made for whatever pick you want to pick. I'm all for drafting one of these guys, the Castle, the kid from Kentucky, perhaps, and you have no.
Well, he's talked to the Spurs doctors. He said that.
Yeah.
Now he hasn't talked to the Spurs.
He scares the hell out of me.
He did talk to the Spurs doctors.
He scares the hell out of me.
I mean,
he does. He scares me.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Get a point guard of the future. I love that. Draft a guy, but go out and add some veteran pieces to this club. That's what I would do.
Well, I like the second answer that Jonathan told Kevin O'Connor from the Ringer much more than what he said on NBA on ESPN, just because that's more in line with what I want to hear.
Right.
And we're at that point where you can go find a gazillion experts on a gazillion different draft type websites and find one that suits your opinion and go with it and ignore all the others until draft day rolls around, which is what, the 26th?
It's late this month.
26th, 27th, something like that.
Yeah.
2 days after Blink 182 at the Frost Bank Center. Yeah.
Is that what people should be? Let's go to Blink 182, and then we only have 2 days left.
That's how I'm going to remember it.
Right.
And I'm glad, too, because, the day after, I might be moving a little bit slow.
You might be.
So we'll pledge.
Pledge is going to that concert?
Blink 182?
Wow.
Of course he is.
I mean, of course he is.
Of course he is.
Okay.
I mean, we're not going together.
You sure? Does your wife know about this?
That we're not going together?
No, that you're going together.
Me and
Pledge, you just broke his heart. Look at him.
Oh, no.
He thought you were going. Paying for the limo.
Nice
dinner before.
I might pay for the car service. I might let him tag along.
All right.
In the car, but our seats. See, Pledge is going to be in the mosh pit.
I
want nothing to do with the mosh pit.
No.
Nothing to do with the mosh pit.
Why does Pledge want to be in the mosh pit?
Have you met James Pledge?
I have.
I mean, he wants to body check somebody like Robert Horry once did. One Steve Nash. That's Pledge's goal.
If you haven't seen that, if you're too young to remember that, hit it on YouTube. It's worth your time.
7-time champion Robert Horry joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, day 2 of Dallas Cowboys mandatory practice activities. Did everybody show? We'll talk about who's there and who might not have been.
And we'll take an early look at the NBA Finals, all that and more. Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Rob Thompson here for my favorite fantasy app. It's Prize Picks. I'm just one of 3 million people that love more or less. Where else are you going to take a $10 play and turn it into 100x of your cash? It's Prize Picks. And as basketball winds down, the games continue. Yeah, lots of finals action there. More or less, you fantasy guys, you know how to play along with the other 5 million active members. More or less is all that matters. And in June, as basketball winds down, I have got the fun for you. Esports. Yeah, get in on esports every Wednesday and Saturday in June, and your lineup doesn't win, you'll get your entry fee back. Choose the Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, League of Legends. You know them. Go play them. Fantasy games elevated. More or less. It's easy. Take $10, turn it into 100x of cash, and it's so easy to play. Remember the code ALAMO. Go to prizepicks.com. Get yourself signed up. Use that fantasy knowledge. Go play today. That's Prize Picks and Alamo.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back to the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, former Spur, 7-time champion Robert Ory, joining us now in the Buyers Barricades guest line. It's finals time to talk about the NBA Finals. Robert Ory joining us here courtesy of Bet Online. Robert, you think about this matchup coming up on Thursday, Mavericks and Celtics. Seems like a great matchup, but at the same time, all the time off between games. You've been to many finals. Does the time off help or hurt?
You know what? It's really hard to say with certain teams. I think it's with both these teams, it's going to help because you allow Porzingis to get healthy, you get Lively to get healthy. In that sense, but as far as keeping that rhythm and keep smoothness, I think it's going to probably hurt the Boston Celtics more than anybody because they have a lot of pressure on them. You know, you think about it, they got 4 dudes on their team making over $30 million. They got everybody expecting them to, win number 18, being titles. And so there's a lot of pressure on them. Everybody expecting Tatum to be big, win MVP, and then go on to get another big contract like Brown. So all the pressure is on the Celtics to come out and perform, while Dallas Mavericks sitting back saying, we're not supposed to be here. We're 5th seed. We playing loosey-goosey, and we're going to use some of that Luka magic to get us over the top.
So, Robert, what do you do if you're in that Boston Celtics locker room and the pressure's on and they obviously on paper have the better team, the deeper team? What do you say to each other going into game 1 on Thursday night?
Just play loose. Don't think about, the naysayers. Don't think about anything but doing your job. You have to go do your job. If your job is to get rebounds, you get rebounds. Your job to lock someone up defense, you lock them up and not let them get their average. It's so many things that go into play. And, the thing about professional basketball players, they're really good at adapting and learning how to, do whatever situation that can help them perform. And I think, look at the Celtics, even though they're a young team, none of them have won a championship over there other than Drew Holiday. I think it's going to be crucial for those guys to stay together when bad times happen and not rely on the 3 ball so much and learn how to get to the hole like Luka does and get to the foul line to get easy buckets.
Robert Ory joining us here on the Blitz. Robert, take us inside the locker room. The pressure, as you talked about on Boston, there's one guy on that Celtics team named Jason Tatum that seems to be facing a lot of pressure. Big name player who hasn't been able to lead his team to a championship. We all talk about it. Do they talk about it in the locker room? Does a Jaylen Brown or a Derek White say, dude, don't put pressure on yourself. Give it to me. Let the game come to you. What's the in the locker room conversation like?
I think more so is like, yo, just stay loose. Just play your game. You know, those words are gonna be probably spoken most. Just play your game. You know, I remember, playing with, Tim and Shaq and Dream, three of the best players that ever played this game. You should say, just play your game. Don't think about it. And you try to make them lose by cracking a joke or, having a conversation or playing some music, whatever it needs to be to get them out of that mindset of pressure. And I think for Jason, he's probably, he's been to the finals. So he's not worried about getting to the finals or doing something like that. He's been there. Now it's about getting over that hump. And I think that's going to be the biggest key. It's going to play in his favor, that he's been to the finals. Even though they weren't successful, he's been there and he understands it.
When you look at a guy like Luka Doncic and what the guy can do, I mean, it seems like everybody knows what he's going to do, right? I mean, you think, but nobody can stop him. What do you do with this guy? Because I think, Robert, clearly he's the best player that's going to be on the floor in this series.
Yeah, he's going to be the most offensively skilled player. You're not the best player because he ain't going to play no defense. I think what you got to do is you just got to get the ball out of his hand. I don't understand how these players and coaching staff keep letting them come off a pick and roll, going one-on-one with a big. Like, who wants to put one of the most dynamic players offensively against a big? I would love that situation. So double team, get the ball in hand, and don't let him get it back. Nobody – everybody says, oh, that's college way to play the game. No, it's not. It's the basketball way to play the game. The most dangerous man court can't be dangerous if he can't catch it. I know that's easier said than done, but you got enough long, athletic guys in that Boston locker room that can make Luka give it up.
7-time champ Robert Horry joining us here on the Blitz. You look at this series, and I kind of lean in Boston as we see her on Tuesday. You might help sway me here. And I look at Boston. I think Boston can win it with Jason Tatum not being the MVP. I don't think the Mavericks can win the finals without Luka being the MVP. Is that a fair or statement or not?
You know what? It's weird that you say that. You remember that guy that played with Steph Curry that won MVP in the finals? that you never thought won MVP. So it ain't always about the major guys stepping up, because you forget Jaylen Brown can step up. Drew Holiday has won a championship. Derek White, hell of a player. Not saying he's going to win the MVP, but you never know. And then if you roll over to Dallas Mavericks, you forgot there's a guy that almost won the MVP of the finals on that team, and Kyrie Irving. So I think if you basically just boil down and look at it, it's going to go down. It's not going to be about Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Luka Doncic, or Kyrie Irving. It's going to be about White and Washington. Whoever those three out of those two play the best and helps their team by doing the dirty stuff, playing good defense, knocking down big shots, that's going to be the key, because those two guys on each team, the megastars, are going to cancel out each other. It's about those other three, the supporting cast, that's who's going to step up for them.
Robert, I have a feeling you thrived in this situation, but let me ask you, Kyrie Irving going back to Boston, they don't like him very much there, right? He's going to catch a lot of heat, I would think, from the Boston crowd. How does Kyrie handle something like that, or how would Robert Horry handle it?
I would love it. I love people to boo me. I love to be the bad guy. And sometimes I'm the bad guy when I don't deserve to be the bad guy. and that's talking about the city that you live in right now. I'm like, why am I the bad guy? Because I said somebody else was better than Tim. Why am I the bad guy? Damn. I'm like, I do have my own opinion. And so for me, I just think Kyrie, if you watch him throughout the year, he's played with a certain calmness. It's like he's coming to his own. He's matured. And think about it. He can go in a game where he don't take one or two shots in the first quarter. The next thing, everybody's looking like, can you score? The next thing he has 20 in the quarter. He's just playing with a calmness now that only comes with veteran players, where they understand that, it's not about me, it's about we. And you can really, as a basketball player, a guy who loves the game of basketball, you can sit back and really enjoy what he's doing right now.
What is different about Kyrie's game? I mean, the trade last year, it didn't work. I gave Mark Cuban a lot of credit for at least trying. But to see how Luka and Kyrie have gelled, along with everybody else, the coaching from Jason Kidd and the way he's running things with the different personnel that's on the floor. But I really think it's all about Kyrie accepting his role on that team. What do you see from an NBA star's perception of the difference in Kyrie this year versus last year or years past during his career?
I think so many people, when you make a major trade like that, you expect the impact to happen immediately. Since I covered the Lakers, you talking about the trade the Lakers made 2 seasons ago. It took them to the Western Conference Finals. Then it fizzled out this year. Sometimes trade can spark, and sometimes trades are. And I think when you got 2 dynamic guards like Luka and Kyrie, they just ain't gonna have that chemistry right away. They had to develop it over time. And Luka had to know when to get off the ball. Kyrie had to learn how to play with Luka, who dominates the ball. He had to play off the ball. And so I think when people look at it, that's what they had to adapt to. Then also they needed some added pieces. They needed, you needed PJ Washington. You needed Dante Exum. You needed Jaden Hardy. You needed Daniel Gifford. All these guys to come in and impact the game in so many different ways. And that's what it's all about. You think about Tim Duncan, you think about Tony Manu, but it's about the Bruce Bowens, the Malik Roses, those guys that were able to come in and add a punch to the team.
Robert, I got to ask you about a guy here in San Antonio that might very well be the face of the league before too long, Victor Wembanyama. So first of all, your thoughts on him, and then would you, as a veteran player, want to come to San Antonio and play with a guy like that?
I would, just because I know how to play off a dynamic bid. But here's the question: this day and age, how many NBA players gonna put the ego aside and let this young upstart carry them to a championship? And how many more years is Pop gonna coach? There's so many different things that come into play. I think first of all, if I'm coaching San Antonio Spurs, I gotta get me a guard. I gotta give me a guard that knows how to get the ball to Victor, not take shots because I think I'm the guy of the team. Know your pecking order, and that's what you gotta. That's what you definitely need on that team. A guard, and you could bring in. If you had, everybody was like, well, you need a veteran leader on that team. No, you don't. If you got a coach that know how to manage, like Pop does, manage a situation, you can do that. Sometimes veterans, they get in the way because they're old and slow. And so I think with a team like this, you just need a good point guard to come in and run the show and to get Victor the ball when he needs it and not think he's the star of the show and take a lot of bad shots like the point guard that they have now.
Robert Horry here, courtesy of Bet Online. Check out Bet Online for updated NBA Finals series and MVP odds, along with game-by-game lines and props. Right now, current odds about 70% leaning towards Boston winning the NBA Finals this year. Robert, who's your pick to win the finals? How many games, and who's winning MVP?
I think it's going to go 7, and I think the Mavericks are going to win it, and I think Kyrie Irving is going to be MVP.
There you go.
I love it.
Robert Horry.
When you bet, you got to go outside the box if you want to really win some money now.
Yeah, this is true.
Those are great odds.
This
plus
is true.
190. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Robert Horry trying to make money still.
Absolutely.
7-time NBA champ, former Spur. Robert Horry, always great catching up, my friend.
Hey, I got to make money because I took less money to play for the Spurs. So, yeah, I got to make my money back.
And you're going to get it back by betting the Mavs. Yeah. Boy, that's going to go over well in San Antonio, but I hear you.
Yeah, all right.
Robert Horry on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com.
The odds are good if you want to take Dallas.
Mavs in 7.
I don't think they can go 7. They got to win it in 6.
You think 6?
6.
It's still Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm still leaning Boston right now.
Well, that's, it's an issue.
Well, by Thursday I might change my mind. And I haven't put anything down yet for that reason. I like Boston. I think they're the better team. I think, and while Robert Horry, and I just asked him, there's a couple of people on Boston's team that I think can win MVP and they can win the series, not named Jason Tatum. I think Brown could win MVP. Although clearly Robert doesn't think Derek White can win MVP. Now he says Kyrie for MVP. I still think if Dallas wins the finals, Luka's got to be Luka like we just saw in that Minnesota series. He's got to score 30 a game at least. Kyrie was up and down in that series. I mean, he was up early. If he can put together a solid 4 quarters, it's those other role players for the Mavericks that I'm more concerned about. I think the Mavericks have the far better coach in this series, though.
Porzingis is most likely going to play. What kind of rust is he going to have? That's going to be interesting. But if he's back and can do the things that he does, that's going to help for sure. I get what Robert's saying about Luka not playing defense. I think he's an underrated defensive player. I'm not saying he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year anytime soon.
Although we saw in the postseason, that doesn't really matter.
Well, it really doesn't. But I still will go to the mat saying this guy's the best player still left and the best player on the floor in the NBA Finals.
I agree. I think he will be the best player. And I know what Robert said. Let's go the best offensive player.
Yeah.
The Mavericks go as he goes. And to me, that's the concern if you're a Mavericks fan. Part of me wants to see a trophy come back to Texas, even if it's Dallas, Screw those Boston types, right?
Exactly.
The Eastern
You're
Conference.
coming around, Minix. That away.
Well, I mean, I generally will root for a Texas team if my team is not in.
Just say it with me. Overrated. Boston's overrated.
I can't say
Say
that.
it, Jason.
They're not.
You'll feel better.
But they're not.
Say it, Jason.
They're not.
Boston's overrated.
I don't look at Boston as an overrated team. I think they have underachieved for the last couple of years, and this year I don't think they're overrated. And if they win it all, they didn't overachieve. They're where they're supposed to be.
Overrated.
And they didn't get lucky as hell to get there.
Yeah, they did.
But they have taken advantage of some bad luck by their opponents with injuries.
Lucky as hell.
Lucky as hell.
Sometimes you got to be lucky to win. Now, I'll give them that. But their luck.
They've got
it's
T-shirts
about to run out
that say that that it's not luck.
I've seen the shirts.
Do you not believe in their T-shirt?
I've seen it. I've seen the shirts.
Mm-hmm.
But even a 4-leaf clover leprechaun runs out of luck eventually, doesn't he?
I would think not.
Be stealing my Lucky Charms. Exactly.
There's always more marshmallows. What are you talking about?
I like Dallas in the series. I really do. They're battle tested, best player on the floor. And I just think they're going to get it done. It's easy to say, well, let's double team Luka and let's do this and that. Everybody's been trying to do that. You can't do it.
Well, and you talk about being battle tested. The fact that, they were the 5th seed.
Yeah.
Who they had to beat to get where they are. They have been through the ringer, right? They've been beat up. Luka's been beat up. I know they've had some rest, but you also wonder, just 3 physical series, what's left in their tank for a Boston team that, as the 1 seed has had a much easier path to the NBA Finals.
Coasted, you can say it. Gotten lucky. They've coasted through.
They swept here. The
easy Eastern Conference.
The easy, huh?
Big time.
Yeah.
And yet they struggle with Indiana. Isn't that horrible?
They swept them.
They struggled with them. Did they not struggle with them?
They swept them.
Did they not struggle with them?
4 tough games. Couldn't you say the same for Dallas and Minnesota? 5 tough games. 2 of those wins by combined 4 points.
They struggled with Indiana. They're overrated.
Were we watching the same thing?
Yes.
Did you watch baseball last night?
No.
Did you see the Astros rally back and beat the Cardinals?
I saw that.
I would imagine that you and I could have watched that game and seen it differently because we see a lot of things differently, even though it's the same.
I was just so happy.
I think they were up 4-2.
I was just so happy that you and Pledge both were like, oh, wow. It's June, and guess what? The Astros rallied back to beat the Cards.
Well, you were talking all kinds of crap yesterday before the start of the series about how the Astros suck.
They do.
Well, and the Cardinals were going to go down there and win.
Series is not over. They take 2 out of 3. I'll be happy.
That's fine, but it's going to be easy. Yet, they blew a 4-2 lead last night.
Cardinals bullpen is lacking.
Well,
no doubt.
I think the Astros bats finally came alive.
That's
like I
it.
said, we
when
could
you're
see,
throwing batting
we could
practice,
see things differently. Speaking of Major League Baseball, it's one thing if you're a superstar with an interpreter, how things go. But if you're not a superstar and you bet on baseball, and this guy has a bet win rate at the likes of one Joe Reinagle at 4.3%. He's now banned for life. Let's talk about it coming up on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Taking you home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here from my good friends at Connecticut. Living in South Texas, growing up in San Antonio, it's been a great place to be because, well, we love the land, we love the people, and boy, do we love our water. That aquifer water, it makes some good sweet tea and some fine beer, but I'll tell you what comes out of the ground we do not want in our glasses, and that's where Connecticut comes in. The finest water treatment system you can get around these parts, designed and built in the United States. It is made in America for you, San Antonio, for me. I've been a Connecticut customer for years, and now's the chance for you to be one without any risk. Call Connecticut today at 656-PURE. That's 656-PURE. And the good folks at Connecticut are going to come out to your home, put one in your house for the next 90 days. So you can find out what the rest of us already know, that we have a water softener designed and made with South San Antonio in mind. Call Connecticut today at 656-PURE. Get a Connecticut in your home for the next 90 days. You're going to be like me, a Connecticut customer. You know what you're going to do? You're going to thank me later.
ConnecticutSA.com. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With staff shortages happening across the country, most businesses are trying to get more done with less help. This often results in workplace accidents that can cause injury or even death. If you or a loved one has been injured in a workplace accident, call Thomas J. Henry. We handle serious workplace accidents and get serious results. Call Thomas J. Henry today. Available 24/7, nights and weekends.
San Antonio, Texas.
Flo here from Progressive to tell you how you get more than great savings with us. You get customer service access through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
That's a lot of ways I can get in touch with you. I see what's going on here. You can't name favors, but I'm your number one customer.
Actually, we offer all our customers these ways to contact us.
I'm sure you give just any customer your personal
company
contact info.
Well, you did call us more than any other customer this year. So in that sense, you are our number one customer.
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hi, this is Quentin. A little thing I love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips are how satisfying they are. The chicken strips are amazing. They're always filling, crispy, tender, and juicy. Definitely one of my favorite things on the menu, especially when you add in that Chick-fil-A sauce. Always the perfect combination. And then personally, you know me, I'm getting a 4-count. I want as much chicken as possible. I'm that guy. Whenever I get them, whether it be lunch or for dinner, in my household, it's always a winner.
Order the chicken strips on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customer paid for their testimonial.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textblend.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Replace stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, ready to replace your windows or patio doors, but think it's going to be too expensive? Well, think again, because with Renewal by Andersen, you can get top quality, affordable windows and patio doors for no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Just text SCREEN to 200-300 right now for your free in-home window consultation and free price quote. Upgrade your home with new energy-efficient windows and doors installed by certified master installers from Renewal by Andersen and get their best-in-the-nation 20-year warranty. Renewal by Andersen is the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. Act now and get your windows and patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text SCREEN to 200-300. Text the word SCREEN to 200-300. Don't wait. Text SCREEN to 200-300.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Boston Celtics getting some good news as we get ready for the start of the NBA Final. Kristaps Porzingis expected to return for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Christian McCaffrey has a new deal today. San Francisco 49ers ripped up his old deal. They replaced it with a new 4-year contract. About $3 million a year raise for Christian McCaffrey. CeeDee Lamb not at Cowboys mandatory minicamp, but Micah Parsons is.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Happy Tuesday.
It is.
It is. It's a good Tuesday.
It is a good Tuesday.
What's good about it?
The day that ends in Y. A day that ends in Y.
Tuesday.
Did you see that story about a black bear?
Yeah,
that got hit by a car.
Yeah,
or a truck. It was out near Kerrville, and there's this great place out there called Garvin's Country Store. They got incredible beef jerky at that place. It's near the ranch that I go hunting at every year.
Uh-huh.
So I know where Garvin's is, and so I'm thinking I didn't know that we had black bear in this part of the country. And I'm reading this article in the Express News, and they're repopulating.
Oh, nice.
Because you can't hunt them, and you can't poach them.
All right.
And so I don't know. I guess have our bears communicate. They realize, hey, let's go to the Texas Hill Country because nobody is looking for us here. We can have all the sex we want, grow all the bears we want because they can't do anything about it.
Wow. A little boom chicka wow going on in the Hill Country, huh?
Well, I don't know what the saying is about bears in the woods, but yes, there's more than just pooping. They're protected. So I mean, the numbers are astounding. In 2022, there were like 80 black bear sightings. Now we're up to 154.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
And again, they're protected here. But I've never seen a black bear.
Well, I don't want to see one.
Quite
frankly, I'd rather not.
Yes.
I'd really, unless it's in a zoo.
Well, of course.
Then it's okay.
I mean, that goes without saying. There's a lot of things that I don't mind seeing at a zoo that I certainly wouldn't want to see driving down the road or quite frankly in your backyard.
Well, I just wonder if bears are kind of like, cows and bulls, where you got one bull who gets with them all, and you got one king bear who gets like his pick of the litter.
King bear? Yeah. I mean, you think that there is, well, I'm a married bear. Boy, you look attractive, but I can't.
Well,
no, I don't know that animals.
I'm just saying, if, it's like,
I don't know.
Have my way with this one. It's like when she's pretty cute too. Might have to go over there next.
I don't think they care.
No?
No. If she'll let you, they'll go.
You'll be if she'll let you.
Isn't that how it always works?
I guess so, but you know how cows are. You got usually one bull out there who just
You
takes
want
care of
a
everybody.
bear stud?
And a rooster?
Uh-huh.
Like one?
A bear stud is what you're looking for.
I don't know if that's how it goes.
I don't either. I really don't care, but I'm sure somebody could let us know.
I would think so.
At Joe Reinagle 2-0, at Jason Minix, a bear stud. What Joe wants to be when he grows up.
Dude, that made me think of something.
Like what, Joe?
Nothing.
Well, you can't say nothing.
Well, I'll the G-rated version.
Well, of course.
When you were a kid, and be honest, and most kids growing up, you know, I don't know, 10, 11.
Okay.
What'd you want to be when you grew up? Fireman? Doctor? Gynecologist? I mean, right?
No.
You're seriously?
I don't know that I ever wanted to.
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah. Played golf with a gynecologist not too long ago. And boy,
the stories you hear from those guys, it's not what you think it is.
No, it's not even close.
It's not. No, that is often my
you gotta take the good with the bad.
That is my Halloween.
A gynecologist?
Well, I've got some name badges
that
all work for a variety of different doctors, and you know, because I'm pretty lazy when it comes to Halloween, so it works. Depends on what kind of Halloween party we're going to.
I mean, do you have tools?
No, I've got a name badge and some scrubs.
Well, then you could be whatever kind of doctor.
Well, yes, but it's the names that go with it.
Oh, I see.
That I can't really say on the radio, but they're all legitimate. They could be.
Okay,
names.
I got you.
No, it's not that one.
I just thought, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. I doubt it. But you know, you thought that'd be a pretty cool job to have. Yeah, frisky little dude walking around going through puberty. You think, whoa.
All you're doing is finding your dad's magazine saying, I want this for a living.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you didn't think about just being the photographer?
Well, I didn't think about that. Wow.
Instead, you wanted to be a doctor.
A gynecologist.
Which is a doctor.
Well, sure.
Yes. That's a rough job.
But a certain kind of.
That's a rough job.
Just saying.
Imagine the stories that your gyno doctor friend was telling on the golf course.
Yeah, he said, I can't repeat them.
No, you can't. You can't. Let's do the headline blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
So Major League Baseball has permanently banned Tucupita Marcano, or however it doesn't matter.
Not
He's
bad.
never going to play baseball again because he placed hundreds of bets on baseball, including wagers on games involving the Pittsburgh Pirates when he was with the team last season. According to Major League Baseball, in an article by Jeff Passan at ESPN.com, he placed 387 baseball bets totaling more than $150,000 in October 2022 and from last July through November with a legal sports book. He becomes the first active player in a century to be banned for life because of gambling. Now, he lost all of his parlay bets. In fact, he only won 4.3% of his Major League Baseball related bets.
Well, if he's betting parlays, those are obviously harder bets to win.
Sure.
You know, it's just there's all kinds of stuff you could say. It's too bad he didn't have a translator. It's yada.
The translator jokes are already there.
Look, and the fact of the matter is the guy's not any good. All right,
at gambling?
Well, at baseball either, apparently.
Well, he's been in the major leagues for a while.
Well, he's not very good because if he was any good, you have to wonder.
So we can throw the book at a player that won't matter.
Right. And Shohei, we could just throw his interpreter in jail.
Yeah, who pled guilty today. 4 other players did not bet on games involving their assigned team, so they've been banned for the rest of the year.
It's just for the rest of the year because they didn't bet on their own teams.
Correct.
Okay. Well, yeah, you got to.
And the numbers are just stupid.
But you got to make up your mind, don't you? I mean, if you're a baseball player, you shouldn't be able to bet on baseball, period.
Well, you're not allowed to. And everybody knows you're not allowed to. And you go in any clubhouse, signs are everywhere. This was done, though, through legal means, but also busted with the cooperation of the casino. And if there's going to be a partnership between casinos and gambling websites and leagues, because this is the biggest fear for every major league, is there are people that are gambling that could determine and sway the outcome of a game. Now, this guy gets busted. He was on the injured list. He didn't affect the outcome of games. We're naive to think that this hasn't been happening, right? You grew up, your dad was a book.
Right.
We all know a guy. We've all known a guy for a long time. Now it's legal, but we all know a guy if you wanted to. And every player in every league probably knows a guy. The idea, though, that this guy's nothing. It's kind of like those that have been in trouble in the NFL. All no-name types. In baseball, no name. Shohei Ohtani, oh, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
This is interpreter, right? But there is a big scandal at some point. There's going to be a big name superstar player that gets busted that was really going to make us question. It's you could almost feel that is coming. And isn't that the biggest fear of every one of the league commissioners?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. But I think baseball had to, and they had to do this. If you don't ban this guy for life, then Pete Rose comes out of the woodwork and you've got problems on your hands. So you had to do it. I mean, that was the only thing that they could do. But it's got to be, it has to be penalties like that. You have to do that. Guys should not be allowed to bet on the sports that they participate in. Now, I would have any problem with this guy if he placed bet on, if gambling on the NBA or the NFL. I have no problem with that, but not the sport you play in. And look, if you're a big league baseball player or football or whatever, I mean, I don't think that's too big a sacrifice for you to say, you know what, I love to gamble, but I can't gamble on this sport that I play in. I don't think it's too much to ask.
It doesn't matter if this guy's a good gambler or not. I mean, somebody like Joe would love a 4.3% win percentage.
It would be a big change.
But the idea that it's not like he was like, there's not millions here like in the Shohei case. And in the minor leaguers, you're talking a couple $100.
Yeah.
So at least it feels like they were all gambling with money they could afford to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Couple bucks here, couple bucks there. And that's the way all gambling should be, right? But you can't bet on your sport. You can't.
Can't do it.
They're going to throw the book at him.
He's done.
Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, but he also should be banned from working in baseball because he was gambling on his own team. I think you could have both can be true statements.
We can go back into that. Yeah, should he be banned from baseball? Yes. Man should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be in the Hall of Fame for his accomplishments.
He should be in the Hall of Fame
as a player.
Yes.
But this is the biggest fear of all these commissioners.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And now that they're partners in taking advertising money from all of these different sites, and it's legal in, all forward-thinking states, and hopefully Texas will soon make that list. There's going to be more stories like this. There really will be. I just can't wait for it when the big superstar falls.
That's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It will happen.
But it's not Shohei.
No, of course not.
Not Shohei.
He didn't understand.
A story here that really bothers Joe Reinagle.
Yes,
he showed up for work today with this foot-long chili dog from Sonic and said, "Did you see this story? They want to limit alcohol on planes. What the hell are they thinking?"
Now, what are they thinking? I mean, seriously. You're not upset by that?
Not as upset as you were.
Well, apparently, this story, and I'm reading the article to figure out what lame brain and what reason they want to come up with. Apparently, it's health reasons.
Oh,
Jason.
of course.
Because if you drink and the alcohol content in the atmosphere above 30,000 feet, it's like you could suffer a heart attack.
Uh-huh.
Now, I've been on a lot of planes.
Yep.
I've had a lot of drinks on said planes.
Yep.
I've never seen anybody. Now, I'm lucky, and I'll knock them. Nobody's had a heart attack while drinking on a plane.
Yeah, I've seen somebody have an issue on a plane before we took off.
So they weren't drinking.
They weren't. They
at
were
least
not.
not in the plane.
I don't know what they were doing, but it delayed us 3 hours. And Joanna was like, they were 2 rows in front of us. So I have seen somebody have the medical emergency on a plane, but not because of alcohol. Now I could see you. I think you should counter a proposal. Because Joe, without a drink on a plane, the anxiety attack is coming.
Right. I could have a heart attack because they won't give me a drink.
When they announce, you know what, it's a little bumpy. We probably aren't going to have service. The smoke coming out of Joe's ears and the clenching of the armrest. That could be a bigger problem.
Well, especially on a flight that's 2 hours plus.
Oh, yeah. Like going to Vegas.
I can handle, especially going to Vegas.
Yeah.
I can handle a shorter flight. That's fine. I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just load up at the airport.
Here's a bizarre headline. You think about jury stuff. A Minnesota juror has been dismissed from a multi-million-dollar fraud trial after reporting that someone dropped a bag of $120,000 cash at her home with a note urging her to acquit and promising more money if she votes to acquit during this trial. If you're on a jury and somebody drops $120,000 at your house, are you turning the bag in or are you moving?
Both. I guess. Yes, because they'll find you if you keep their money. They will find you. I've seen enough movies. But you got to move, don't you? Because if they're going to find out you turn the bag in, so they lose their money anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And now the defendant's not acquitted. You're screwed.
Well,
you better get the hell out of Dodge, change your name and everything else.
Well, at what point do you worry about the fair trial? I mean, yeah, you're doing the right thing by turning in the money. Now you've got kicked off the jury. You've already proven you can't be bought. But pretty easy to go in and figure, well, this guy's guilty. If you're trying to give me 120 grand, how do you come up with 120?
Yeah,
it just seems like a random number to find on your front porch.
Well, I'd like to find that on my front porch.
Well, yeah, but you would turn it in.
What?
But 100, 150, 120 is all the ATM would let me withdraw. But there's more if you vote to acquit.
Well, I mean, you're assuming I would turn it in. I'm just, I don't know. It depends. There was that plane out to Costa Rica real quick.
You can't live the rest of your life on 120.
In Costa Rica, you could do pretty well, I think.
I mean, it's not Thailand.
I could be a bartender. What the hell? I'll get a job.
You get fired for drinking too much on the first day.
I do something. That's scary, though, because first of all, they're not supposed to know your address.
Your pledge says it was 150. She only turned in 120. But again, why would you turn in 120 instead of 100 or 50?
Yeah, you could have said it was only 50.
Hey, 10,000 showed up on, well, you're off the jury. All right.
And just as long as the headline read, turned in all the money.
Turned in money.
Yeah.
Because only one person knows how much was really dropped off on the porch. Depending on what the Ring doorbell shows.
But that's the scary part. They know your address. How the hell they get your address?
Well, they know.
Well,
because they probably gave 100 to the county court clerk.
So I'm telling you.
I've seen movies before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that works.
You got to move.
Yeah.
You get the hell out of there quick.
Where are you going to move?
Well, I don't know. But you better figure it out. Would you feel safe? Some dude dropped 120 grand off of your front porch. You turned it in. Didn't help the defendant at all.
This was a white crime fraud trial, not, you're
saying.
putting in, the mafia.
Could have been.
Could have been. Speaking of bags of money, Christian McCaffrey got a new bag today. He has reset the running back market. And Lamar Jackson doesn't care about money.
For real. He's not Dak Prescotting you.
Apparently. We'll explain coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, let me talk to you about Parkhurst New Vision. I open up social media again today, and I see all these happy patients, and I love reading those things. because it makes me happy because I'm a part of that community. A very happy Parkhurst New Vision patient. Had lens replacement surgery about a year ago. And man, I tell you what, the results are just fantastic. Every day I wake up and I can read things, and it's just, it really is refreshing. And now I really don't even think about it. I just read, and no glasses, no nothing. And apparently there's a lot of other people who are realizing the same thing that I was able to realize and have done to my eyes. It is fantastic. Look, you can join the community as well. It's not an exclusive community, not at all. All you have to do is call Parkhurst New Vision. It's really easy to get the process started. 210-585-2020. You can also check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. When you call them up, you're going to make that initial consultation. As soon as you walk through the front door, you're going to feel like a member of the family. It really is that simple. Then you go in, you ask your questions, they'll walk you through the process and what they're going to do, and you are going to join that social media community of happy Parkhurst New Vision patients. Come join us. Will you do that? Let them do for you what they've done for me and so many others. Call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020.
94.1 FM.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-881-4242. That's 800-881-4242.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more OSB sheathing. And there's more. Save 10% on select James Hardie products when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Rob Thompson here for my favorite fantasy app. It's Prize Picks. I'm just one of 3 million people that love more or less. Where else are you going to take a $10 play and turn it into 100x of your cash? It's Prize Picks. And as basketball winds down, the games continue. Yeah, lots of finals action there. More or less, you fantasy guys, you know how to play along with the other 5 million active members. More or less is all that matters. And in June, as basketball winds down, I have got the fun for you. Esports. Yeah, get in on esports every Wednesday and Saturday in June, and your lineup doesn't win, you'll get your entry fee back. Choose the Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, League of Legends. You know them. Go play them. Fantasy games elevated. More or less, it's easy. Take $10, turn it into 100x of cash, and it's so easy to play. Remember the code ALAMO. Go to prizepicks.com. Get yourself signed up. Use that fantasy knowledge. Go play today. That's Prize Picks and Alamo.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Gotta change my oil.
How about new Valvoline Restore and Protect? It restores and protects your engine to run like new.
Get in the zone.
It restores your engine to like factory clean?
And protects.
Get in the zone.
So Valvoline Restore and Protect restores and protects.
Now you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for $37.99.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions.
They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-948-5880. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-948-5880 to speak with a live person now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
This is Jerome, and you're listening to 941 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, another contract got done today. It wasn't CeeDee Lamb. I don't know if you would say leaves are falling on this one, but Christian McCaffrey resets the running back market, gets a new contract. Basically, they've added 2 years. I think there's about $38 million of new money, but the way it's structured, a lot of that is all in bonuses.
Well, and it helps them with their salary cap situation, obviously. So if they're thinking about Ayuk, maybe that helps to get him re-signed. That's a possibility. So the lesson here, boys and girls, is the fact that teams know how to get creative and do things and sign players.
Sure. He's a reigning offensive player of the year. His 2-year extension averages now $19 million a year versus 16. And I look at that and I think, okay, McCaffrey will receive an additional $8 million over what he was scheduled to make in 24 and 25, while adding $24 million in guarantees. So, he resets the running back market, but is there anybody else close to Christian McCaffrey from a running back level that's going to get close to $20 million a year?
Not that, and I think most of his salary this year he's already gotten, right? I think he got most of it in a bonus or whatever it is in one check, and I think he's going to make a little over $1 million salary-wise for this year, which is going to create a lot of cap space.
Well, yeah, and then obviously adding 2 more years helps spread that around. So whether it's for Brandon Ayuk, who they still, he's looking for a new contract.
Sure he is.
And after he sees the Jefferson deal, he knows what neighborhood he wants to be in. It's interesting because you do feel like maybe there would be conversations now with CeeDee Lamb that Jefferson has done. Obviously, with the Larry Allen news yesterday, you could understand if the Cowboys front office, if they had anything scheduled, if I'm CeeDee's agent, as soon as the Jefferson deal hit, I'm on the phone to Steven. But I could understand if Steven said, we got other things that we need to talk about, or, I understand the world goes on and business is still business, but there's no deadline. I can understand the Cowboys taking a couple of days before announcing anything with CeeDee Lamb. And I say announcing, whether it's a deal or you start hearing about meetings taking place just because it doesn't feel right.
Well, I have to believe that there are no meetings. There is nothing that is intimate because CeeDee Lamb's not at camp. I mean, I think if something were in the works, if something were close, I think CeeDee would be there. And he's not. So it tells me that it doesn't, at least today, doesn't seem to like they're close at all.
Now, if I'm advising CeeDee, I probably would have had him go to work.
Sure.
Just not get on the field. Micah was on the field today.
He was.
Micah's going to reset the market, whether, if he were to get hurt in practice, was it Sean Lee who, was it the first day of mandatory minicamp 1 year he tore his ACL? I mean, Micah's there. Micah's at practice. He's doing stuff. CeeDee's not. And you're right. I agree. As long as if they were talking, he might be there. They're not talking, he's not showing up.
Or they're not close. I can see that. If they've been talking and Jerry's here and CeeDee wants this and they're not close, then I could see him. Look, it's easy to sit out this one. Now, for you and I, $100,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. But to CeeDee Lamb, it's not really. He knows he's going to get paid eventually, something you would think. Plus, he's making almost $18 million this year. So $100,000, he can do that. The question is going to be, if they don't have anything done come training camp, does he sit that out? And that's when it's really going to get ridiculous.
And I think those are the fines that you can't, as a team, dismiss. I think they can dismiss minicamp fines, even though these are mandatory. But it's so bizarre that we always talk about it's about the money. And these players are trying to go get every nickel they can get. Lamar Jackson did that, right? Lamar Jackson, remember, everybody here remembers the entire Lamar Jackson saga with Baltimore to the point where they were going, yeah, dude, go ahead. Now, he doesn't have an agent. He negotiated his whole thing. So I don't know if this is because he didn't have an agent and Baltimore was able to easily put this into his contract, or if Lamar Jackson flat doesn't give a damn about $750,000. But he's got a clause in his contract that he's got to show up to 80% of their voluntary workouts. If not, he forfeits a $750,000 bonus. He didn't go to 80% of the voluntary workouts, so $750,000 will not be going into Lamar Jackson's bank account.
I mean, that's not chump change, right? That's a lot of money. And all you have to do is go and stand there. I mean, I'm sure Harbaugh wouldn't make Lamar Jackson do anything. You just kind of stand there. You go through a few things. And, I mean, I don't know. That seems like a fumble, Lamar, in my opinion. Man, go and get the money.
If he doesn't do this on a normal basis, the years of his contract, you're looking at about $3 million. Pro Football Talk has an interesting math part of this. It's about 2.5%. So basically, the cost of an agent that he was trying not to pay is what he is losing by not getting this bonus.
Or he could say, I'm just going to pretend I have an agent. I don't feel like going. I would have lost this anyway. I don't know. It seems weird to me that all you have to do is show up. I mean, really.
To the granted, 80% of the voluntary workouts.
Just 80%.
Just 80%.
So if you just go to one for 3 days and then maybe show up for a day at the other, you're golden.
Yeah.
Wow.
Knowing that there's $750,000 on the line, you're not going. But you fought so hard to get all that money.
It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But I guess it does to him.
CeeDee getting fined as we speak for not showing up. Let's talk about his absence. Mike McCarthy last week seemed frustrated with Micah not being at voluntary. Well, CeeDee not at mandatory. Mike's like, yeah, it's business. Let's talk about it coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, day 2 of Dallas Cowboys mandatory practice activities. Did everybody show? We'll talk about who's there and who might not have been.
And we'll take an early look at the NBA Finals, all that and more. Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Don't miss a second of NWSL action.
Heel pass, LaPonta, shoots, scores!
Every club, every matchup. From kickoff to equalizers, every PK, every save. The best players in the world play here. Find where to watch at nwslsoccer.com/watch. NWSL. We play here.
You want another way to add excitement to watching the NBA playoffs? Jason Minix here. Let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. It is a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports, especially playing the pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your pick'em entry, and all you have to do is select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. It is fantasy and it is legal in Texas. So get started by going to the easy-to-use Underdog Fantasy mobile app or go to the website underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry and a deposit offer. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, sign up using my promo code STAR at underdogfantasy.com. Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
I'm AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6. Your early morning wake-up call on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. If you've done any grilling over the last couple of days, you know the drill. Take those photos you posted on Instagram and Facebook and elsewhere, and make sure you post them at sasportstar.com, the Grilling with the Blitz page, because you could win yourself a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market.
You and Rob both had shrimp on the grill yesterday, didn't you?
We did.
Wow.
Unplanned.
How about that?
And what's crazy is all of a sudden, our private group chat ended up on Instagram.
Huh.
I don't know how that happens.
I don't know. How does that work?
I have no idea.
Would you say something you didn't want out on the gram?
No, but I mean, Rob posted he was doing shrimp, and I was like, that's funny. So am I. I literally just put them on there, but
well, yours had bacon around them.
Yeah,
I don't think his did.
No, bacon makes them better.
Well,
his were all skewered. And then people were commenting, yes, I season my bacon when I'm, whether it's jalapenos or shrimp, season your bacon. Man, it's so good that way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do that?
Yes.
With what?
On half of them, that was Southern Hospitality from Gulf Coast Smoke. The other half was Honey Hog from Meat Church.
All right.
Just adds to the flavor.
Well, that's
good stuff.
You didn't have any leftovers?
No.
That's too bad. I guess Pledge didn't get to eat today.
Did you bring him any food?
I didn't. Did you?
No.
Well, poor dude, his stomach's growling in there.
It would be growling whether he ate or not.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Cowboy fans growling over Jerry not getting anything done when it comes to contracts. And as you think about now that Justin Jefferson is signed, you kind of expect there to be some movement, not just in Dallas, but the other top wide receivers that were waiting for that big leaf to fall. And it fell. I thought it was interesting yesterday on the NFL Network, our good friend Jane Slater talking about who actually has the leverage.
Does he have all the leverage? That's the big question we keep getting. Well, not necessarily. Remember the Cowboys. They have got him playing on that fifth-year option. He's paying at about $18 million. So the Cowboys could, in theory, go to CeeDee Lamb and say, all right, you don't want to take the deal that we're putting on our table. You guys don't want to come to the table. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to tag you and then tag you again. Now, the problem with this, and you guys know this, if the Cowboys did that, well, that really hurts their cap space moving forward because you take the first 5 wide receivers, what they're getting paid APY, you average that, and then that big number is going to affect your cap as well. Eventually, I think this deal gets done, but I think we're still going to be playing this waiting game to sort of see where these numbers fall. But you can get creative. Ian, maybe you can talk to a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And that might be an option here. But yeah, we'll have to see if CeeDee shows up at minicamp tomorrow. He has not been there for any of the voluntary OTAs so far.
And obviously he did not show up. And I'm glad that Jane Slater explained it that way, in a sense that we've all been saying the same thing for a while. CeeDee has no leverage.
None whatsoever.
Although you could say he does, because if they were to tag him, that's 100% on the cap for that year. So he's got this year at $17 million. That's fine. But next year, if they tag him, the Cowboys have to be able to absorb 100% of that, kind of like what they had to deal with Dak for those years when they were tagging Dak Prescott. I don't know that that's a great deterrent for Jerry, but if you look at the salary cap hell that they are in with whatever deal Dak ends up with, knowing they still have to factor in Micah Parsons' contract, and Micah Parsons will reset the market. That is his goal, is to become the highest paid non-quarterback when it's time for him to get paid. So the idea that we keep saying Jerry has all the leverage, and while that's true in theory, CeeDee might call his bluff and say, can you really afford, Jerry, to tag me and absorb this in your cap?
Well, I mean, unless there's some just outstanding salary cap gymnastics, you sign Micah, Dak, and CeeDee, there's not much left for anybody else anyway.
Well, but that's why you have to do like what San Francisco did today with Christian McCaffrey. There's ways to spread that out and absorb the blow. And that's the only leverage. There's 2 pieces of leverage that I think CeeDee Lamb has. One, this offense without me is going to suck. I'm your best offensive player. That's number 1. Number 2, Jerry, I'm going to call your bluff. Do you really want to tag me and 100% absorb the amount of money in one cap year? Can you do that? And are you willing to do that twice?
Well, he was willing to do that with his quarterback twice.
He was.
So I don't see why he wouldn't be willing to do it with CeeDee Lamb. Look, who knows? I mean, can we sit here and say anything that we know anything about what the Cowboys are about to do, or what Jerry's thinking, or who he's going to tag and who he's going to sign and who he's not going to sign? And well, it's speculation completely, because they're not showing their hand at all.
No,
they're not. Who knows whether Dak gets a contract before this year begins? Maybe they wait till next year to see what happens, see how it plays out. at some point in time, and Shireen Williams, who will join us later on this program, has said before, sometimes difficult decisions have to be made. And we'll see if the Cowboys are willing to do that or if that's what they want to do. I just don't see this team getting much better unless they get really creative. And I'm not sure the Cowboys are capable of that. I just don't see them getting better. They're not better now, and I certainly don't see them getting better. If you wanted to make this team better, Dak's already got his contract, and he had it in March.
Yeah.
So you had some money to spend on free agency or whatever else you want to do to try and get some talent in here to make this team better. It's not better.
It's not better than what played last year, unless, and the Cowboys' plan apparently is all these young guys that they've drafted and developed can all step up. Jerry has used a term, this roster has a lot of promise. And I've said forever, hope is not a good plan.
It's not.
It's not. Now, they've told us about other players in the past that they've thought have developed and were going to surprise us. And they were right about that on occasion. And other players, they haven't lived up to expectation. You know, is Mozzie Smith with Mike Zimmer going to be a different player than what we saw last year? Because you remember when Jerry was like, you know, some of our coaches didn't get the most out of our guys, which was a shot at Dan Quinn and what they were doing defensively. I mean, we'll see, but hope is not a good plan. Prove me wrong, Jerry, but right now I don't look at this roster and think that it's better. You've got a lot of young, unproven guys that need to go prove it. So yeah, they didn't, and quite frankly, the running back room is the biggest concern, which, again, a Dak deal done could have changed. I don't know, a Derrick Henry coming to Dallas or not coming to Dallas. And we know what we've got, well, sort of, with Rico. You know, is he, as a guy getting more carries, is he going to be better? I mean, it's kind of the same argument we were having with Tony Pollard, but at least with Pollard, we saw a couple of years of the explosive plays and wanted to see more while you had Zeke declining. And now Zeke comes back. Yeah. It's frustrating.
Well, look, at least in that respect, they've got a plan. Running back by committee. That's the plan right now.
Yeah,
at least that's what they're telling us.
That's a bad plan.
Whether they go out and get anybody else, I don't know.
I mean, they're doing running back by committee without a true number one in the room.
Well, it's Rico Dowdle. It has to be.
I said a true number one in the room, right? I mean, you know, there is a difference when you're going running back by committee and say you've got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, right? There's a difference when you got a bunch of guys that would not be a starter anywhere else.
So you're saying Rico Dowdle's not the number one?
I mean, he hasn't proven it. I mean, now I liked Rico Dowdle as the backup last year over Malik Davis, and I said that all off season.
Is that guy still around?
Who?
Malik Davis.
I don't know.
I think he is.
Is he on the roster?
And Royce Freeman's there.
Who?
Yeah.
What?
Royce Freeman. You forget about him?
Yes.
Wow.
And so will you. Who was the running back that they signed last year that we joked wouldn't even? Ronald Jones.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yes. Yeah. He might still be around too.
He might be.
I mean.
We got an old folks home of running backs.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, and then there's Deuce Vaughn.
He's working at slot receiver.
Yeah.
Versatile.
I thought, everybody told me last year, Deuce, did you see him at Kansas State? Whoa. Guy was something else.
So Mike McCarthy today talking about CeeDee Lamb. I find it interesting. Remember how frustrated he sounded last week with Micah not there for voluntary?
Yeah.
CeeDee's not there today, but that's okay. It's business.
I think when you talk about veteran players, every offseason program that I've been a part of, I mean, the veteran players, some guys have a workout bonus of 85%. So, all these things are factored into the planning of the offseason program because at the end of the day, it's about connecting the young players to the veteran group. That's always been the number one goal for my approach, how the training, how the teaching, everything's set up. So, you have veteran players that may miss or not miss, but they're all engaged. Every one of our players, we've had an incredible off-season program. I mean, the engagement has been 100%, but the quality of work, within the the realm that we can practice in and work in, I feel great about it. And I think we can have an excellent day today and tomorrow. I mean, it'll be, we definitely would be above the line of what we're trying to accomplish. So, yeah, so CeeDee and all those types of situations, he's in a business situation, everybody's engaged. And I have no qualms or don't lack no confidence as far as, our vets being ready. My focus is, because, right now the younger players are passing the written part of it. They're able to get through the walkthrough and, but let's be honest, we're not going to really know until we get to training camp and see them really go full speed, put pads on and things like that. So, I mean, it's always been about crossing thresholds of your teaching program and so forth. So, yeah, for all the veteran players, they've been engaged and we'll be in a great spot. It's really about the young guys.
I hear this, and I just got Chris Berman in the background. He's rumbling, stumbling, bumbling all the way to the finish line on trying to answer a question that doesn't throw his wide receiver under the bus, because it's really a veteran guy. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about the young guys. They're all connecting dots, and with him not here, a lot of young receivers, boy, they get more work.
I think the biggest thing too, obviously the climate that we have to train in, really the receivers are the one group that can really go and probably get the most out of these training regiments that are as part of the CBA Phase 3, and they've knocked it out of the park. I think our young guys have really stepped up. I mean, just the confidence in the route running. Granted, the defensive backs can't. We're not getting any engagement at the breaking points and things like that. So, but they've done a really good job. I mean, I've been very pleased with their understanding, the connection in the route running. Obviously all the scheme and the protection as far as the hots and things. So we've been able to work that. Just because more of the training part of it, they've had a great off season. You look at the GPS and all the numbers and things like that. I think our perimeter guys have done a tremendous job.
Wow. All I hear is that the Cowboys are right on the verge of a championship.
Buy into us.
Yes. They're right there, Jason.
They're right there.
You should be thrilled. Come on, I want to hear the old Jason. Super Bowl this year. Here we go.
We have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
Yes.
We're above the line.
Yes.
All the numbers look great.
Yes.
Absolutely.
These guys are perfect out on the practice field.
They're passing all the tests.
Yes.
The written part. It's getting there.
Just a matter of time, isn't it? Super Bowl.
No.
Here we come.
I mean, it's June. Not July yet.
So July.
I mean,
that's when training camp.
We'll get out there.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you know how this is going to go. We're going to leave. We're going to be all like, yeah, this year. I mean, not going to be as good as last. And maybe a year with no expectation from anybody outside of that room is what this Dallas Cowboys need. Maybe. But we're going to get out there, and Joe Hader is going to show up there at Oxnard at the tennis court, and he's going to buy more gear in the fan shop because they have an entire mall set up there. And here's Joe, Mr. Titan fan, Mr. Old Oiler fan, that will say all this about the Cowboys, buying more stuff in the pro shop than any of us. He'll get a new hat. He'll get a white belt with blue stars on it. He'll buy a new half zip. Trying to think of all the things you bought up. Man, this looks good too. Let me get that. And then we're going to be at a party with Jerry. And you're like, I love you, man.
I do.
Yeah, I love you.
I
Super Bowl Jerry.
Love Jerry
Super
Jones.
Bowl Jerry. So what's going to happen?
Well, sure. Right? I don't know about I've got a long sleeve shirt and a hat. That's all I've got, but that's fine.
I think
don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
I think there's a half zip and a golf shirt.
No. I don't have a golf shirt or a half zip. I have a long sleeve shirt.
You don't have one of those fancy golf shirts with the Miller Lite logo on the back with the blue star on it?
Yeah, but I didn't get that from Jerry.
Oh, okay, but you have it.
I do have it.
Yes.
Boy, we're talking about Jerry's Mall at training camp.
I'm just thinking about your cowboy gear.
That was a freebie.
Yes, but you still wear it with pride.
Can't remember the last time I wore that shirt, actually.
Do
like the cowboy hat I bought, though.
Yeah.
The old logo. That was great.
Yeah.
I wear that
from
time to time.
And they probably will sell you a white belt.
They might. Yeah. And if they do, I'll think about it. But we'll get out there. I'll discover another player for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you'll have somebody to look for.
I love how you just. Joe claims discovering players that are at training camp.
Just a guy to watch for. Did it come out of nowhere?
Come out of nowhere.
Come out of nowhere.
No expectations whatsoever.
You didn't like Aubrey? Thought he's just a kicker?
I thought he needed competition.
Yeah, well, he didn't. Obviously, best kicker in the NFL.
Here we go. That is true.
And then you got the best tight end, and you go out and waste a second-round draft pick on some other schoon maker.
I mean, if you would have known that Jake Ferguson was a tight end, I might give you some credit there. But you had no idea what position he played.
Of course I did.
You just saw this man walk by, and you're like, who is that? And then looked at Jake Ferguson.
That's not how it worked at all.
That's exactly how it worked.
No,
we were under a tree as the ocean breeze was going by, and here comes it. You're like,
candlelight dinner.
Who is that? Right after we were at Topper's Pizza watching Tim Spence throw up all over the place.
Don't let facts get in the way of a good story. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing, look how well that guy's put together.
Yeah, I don't think you heard that either.
Who is that?
It's talent that I spot.
The way you said that, most of us would describe talent as, let's say we were at the beach and she walked by.
See?
And that's what it was with Jake Ferguson walking by.
Yeah. I love you guys. Yeah, the only guy that bothered to show up in the Green Bay game. That's fine.
Brandon Aubrey?
No. Well, he was. He didn't have much of an opportunity except in the second half when the game was over. But Ferguson was there for the entire game.
Your guy.
Yeah.
Your
discovered
guy.
Him.
Restraining order still in place.
Oh, funny.
Mm-hmm.
Funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is the Blitz
I'll
here.
discover somebody else.
On 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. You know, injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Riding 281 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. And 76, visit staples.com/print for details.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
Maybe it's time to ask your checking account. What have you done for me lately? My Advantage Checking from Generations Federal Credit Union does more. My Advantage Checking pays you 2 days early, plus shopping rewards, identity protection, and much more. My Advantage Checking treats you right. So make the switch. Learn more at Generations Federal Credit Union. Member owned. Community grown. Member eligibility requirements apply. For complete terms and conditions, visit mygenfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them. With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work. Work. From ordering to reporting, we even keep your receipts all in one place, which means all you need to do is sit back and enjoy.
You're not having any lasagna?
All I can taste is hours of expense reports.
Relax, you used EasyCater. Enjoy the food, Ray.
Oh, no, thanks.
Enjoy it?
Amazing.
Yes, Ray, it is amazing. 100,000 restaurants and everything you need to make food for work, work. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save, because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Cowboys kicked off their mandatory minicamp today, and CeeDee Lamb is not there. Micah Parsons, however, is. Christian McCaffrey signs a 2-year extension today, and, well, it just kind of replaces the one that he had from Carolina. He's averaging now $19 million a year, about $3 million higher than he had before. Boston Celtics forward Kristaps Porzingis expected to return for Game 1. NBA Finals begin Thursday.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
For the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Should not eat pretzels during a commercial break.
No, you shouldn't do that.
Yep. Yeah.
It's all right. Were they good? Are they chocolate covered?
No, they're not chocolate covered. They're little snack pretzels, cheese, and salami in a cup. One of these fancy
salami, huh?
It's I don't know. It was in the fridge and I grabbed it.
Dude, I'm glad we're out of here in 2 hours.
Dude, you had a chili dog.
Yeah, but I'm doing just fine.
For now.
Well, hey, you got more wiener.
Huh?
You got 2 hours. Smeller's the feller.
What?
You ever heard that?
What?
Somebody's like looking around and goes, oh, man, stinks in here.
Yeah?
It's a dead giveaway.
Well, what did you call it?
Smeller is the feller.
Well, how old are you? Because when I was a kid, it was whoever smelt it dealt it.
Well, that too.
All right. The smeller, the feller sounds like something from the 50s.
The smeller is the feller.
The smeller is the feller.
Dude, now, physically, I'm one age. Mentally, I'm much younger.
I think we can all say that.
Much younger.
All should say that.
Yeah.
You know, there are certain headlines that require you to click on them, right?
Sure.
TMZ.
Uh-oh.
Giant, venomous, flying spiders invading New York any day now. Not your friendly neighborhood type. Are there any friendly neighborhood flying spiders?
I didn't know. I don't know of any flying spiders.
I know there are people out there that will say they do good things.
They do.
I just don't want to see one in my house.
Well,
it will die.
Okay.
I'm not going to be the nice guy that catches it and lets it go outside. That's not what I do with any kind of insect.
Well, they do good. They eat mosquitoes.
I'm sure.
Flies.
I'm sure. That's what my bug assault is for.
Dude, I went through a whole thing of salt the other day. It was a lot of fun.
See, you need more spiders.
Well, there was one who had this wild net or web or whatever you call it, and just sitting there, right in the corner of where we have in the backyard.
Well,
and this thing, man, was just. I left him there.
These are venomous spiders, though.
Venomous.
And I don't know if they're gearing up at their headquarters, planning to invade New York, but this TMZ article reads that way because it says these invasive species of spiders preparing to invade New York. They can fly through the air like Spider-Man. Folks in New York and New Jersey are bracing for the imminent arrival of the Joros spider, a giant venomous species of 8-legged critters known for their ability to parachute around town.
So they're preparing to invade New York. What are they, outside the city limits with drills?
Well, like wherever they're at right now, they're apparently gearing up, ready for their attack.
That's what I'm saying.
Like TMZ has got their marching orders.
Yeah, are they going through, just preparing? That just sounds funny as hell to me. They're preparing. We're gearing up. We're getting our ammo ready.
Well, yes, that's how it reads. And they parachute in. I mean, this is what nightmares are made of.
Yeah. Dude, please.
I mean, they're pretty.
Oh, look, Pledge put some pictures of them.
Yeah.
They're green.
Green, yellow,
Yellow and green with green stripes.
Yeah, something like that. They look like those more bumblebee-like. They look like, well, hell, that one there looks like he could suit up for the San Antonio Brahmas.
He does
with that color scheme. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they can't be that venomous. Just picture this guy holding one in his hand.
I see a guy holding rattlesnakes too. I don't recommend it.
Well,
I mean, he might be a trained spider holder guy.
This guy's just crawling around on it.
Well, it says venomous.
I think TMZ, it's a slow news day.
I mean,
Britney Spears is out of commission, and I guess Taylor Swift is off somewhere. They had to come up with something.
Mm-hmm. For those of you that might be going to New York this summer, this is something you get to add to your list of things.
It might be the least of your worries going to New York as a flying spider.
Hi, I'm going to New York this summer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Good. New York City?
I'm not going to Manhattan this trip.
No.
I've done Manhattan, Times Square a bunch.
Yeah.
We're going to stay in kind of Flushing Meadows the first couple of days. Because we're going to go see Foo Fighters at Citi Field, which is in Queens. And then we're going to go out to the coast and spend a couple of days on the beach.
How sweet.
Near the Hamptons.
That's
I can't
great.
afford to go to the Hamptons, but we'll be near the Hamptons.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And hopefully nowhere near any parachuting spiders.
I'm calling BS on that story.
Calling BS.
I am.
I mean, they're planning to invade New York.
That's the first thing. They're preparing to invade. I don't know how spiders prepare to do anything.
Well,
and how does TMZ know that? Would they have an embedded reporter in with a spider army?
Yes. Well, where are they now? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, where are they now where they're going to be able to jump into New York City? Oh, they were spotted in Georgia. Wait, that was in 2010. Most likely hitching a ride on a shipping container.
Oh, so that's how they do it.
Northeast climate makes a perfect home for these spiders.
Come on, fellas. Let's jump on this train. We're headed to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody knows shipping containers are a perfect Trojan horse.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. They're venomous, but not lethal to humans.
Oh. Well, who are they lethal to?
I don't know. Mosquitoes.
Yeah, I'm calling BS on
But the
this
fact
story.
that they could just be floating out in the sky, not necessarily a fan.
I'm calling
Although
BS.
at least if you're walking around in New York, chances are you're looking up at buildings and, different things.
I was told you should never do that if you go to New York. Don't look like a tourist. Seriously.
I mean, you can't help it in some. I mean, yes, you're right. There are parts of New York, just keep walking.
Yeah.
When the guy stops you and is trying to play a little game, you're probably going to lose and get robbed.
Yeah.
That you're not going to win at the shell game, and a guy really isn't selling Rolexes on the corner.
Well, they're Rolexes, but they, the X is off.
They're not real Rolexes. In fact, some of them might say Rolodex.
No telling. But, you walk around and you just kind of, wow, ooh, ah. You're not supposed to do that.
I mean, you can if you're in a touristy area, you can.
I was just always told the first time I went to Manhattan, said, don't look like a tourist.
Well, I mean, you probably had, your camera around your neck on a strap, and tour guides in your hand, and an I Love New York umbrella.
Yeah, I had all that stuff.
All the packages that you had to buy for the kids.
Uh-huh.
Right? Yeah, you look like a tourist.
I'm sure I did the first time I went.
I mean, when you're sitting there trying to study which way should you go on the subway, you look like a tourist.
I didn't go on the subway.
Why? Subway's fantastic.
I'm sure it's great. Y'all can tell me all about it.
Would you ever?
Well, sure. During the day, probably.
Yeah.
Would you go at night?
I have.
You have? I'm talking about now, not 40 years ago.
Well, I lived there 30 years ago. I probably would. It depends on where I'm going.
Yeah.
Subway's fairly safe.
All right.
I mean, I like the subway in New York better than I do the subway in Los Angeles.
Never taken the subway in Los Angeles.
That's a scary spot.
Is that right?
There's not as many people on there. So, when you get to certain locations and you're exiting, you have to step over a lot of different things to get out. And there's not the mass amount of people like you have in New York. So I'm fine on the subway in New York.
Well, have you seen those stories about, people pushing people onto the tracks?
Sure.
Oh, that's fake news or what?
Well, it's not fake
kind of like
news.
Spiders that are parachuting out of the sky.
TMZ
and preparing
does not have fake news.
I'm just saying.
TMZ does not have fake news.
It's a slow news day for TMZ.
Dude, we have a spider invasion coming to New York City with spiders that can parachute in.
And they're preparing now for battle.
Yes. I don't know where they're coming from, but they've got to be staging somewhere on the East Coast right now.
Yeah.
Probably like, I don't know, Virginia.
Staging on the East Coast.
I mean, if you're going to invade New York, you've got to have a nearby staging area.
They're rounding up the crows to give them a ride in so they can parachute off.
On crows, huh?
Yeah, why not? Or pigeons.
Pigeons. It's New York.
They don't have crows in New York?
Yeah, well, I mean, the pigeons dominate. I'm sure they do.
I just picture a pigeon with a spider on his back or a regiment of spiders. All right, let's go, fellas.
Well, I just want to know that they have like a big spacecraft that they're going to fly in and deploy. Like all these guys are going to all these spiders are going to parachute out. Like,
yes.
All right. Upper West Side. You guys, you jump here. The rest of you, we're going to the financial district.
Yes.
Here you go.
Find a dude with a tie. Parachute on him.
With a tie.
Where's that? The financial district. Dude, that's
Central Park, here you go.
I'm crying BS on the parachuting
Strawberry Fields.
Spiders.
You need to get out more. You need to get out
I
more.
get out quite a bit. I'm just saying, I don't believe that there's an army of spiders preparing for battle in New York.
Well, they didn't say battle, it said invade.
Well, the same thing.
It really is.
It's the same thing.
There would be a battle if there was flying spiders coming towards you.
If there's an invasion.
You would sound like
spiders.
Matt Cedoroff from Channel 4 back in the day when he had an invasion of crickets that he was dealing with.
Oh, gosh. I'm not opposed to that.
And you know what? If I saw flying spiders, I think I would do the same thing.
Yes. Oh, gosh. or parachuting spiders. And when you have time, though, oh, look at that, honey.
Well, I mean,
it's a spider with a parachute.
Well, imagine whatever B-level movie this seems like it's right out of.
Somebody get Godzilla.
By the time you realize, well, what is that? Oh, no, that's a spider. It's on you.
Oh, come on. That'd be like the dude in Austin Powers. You see that? He's on a train. He's like yelling. The thing's about 100 feet away.
Well, these they're about 4 inches big. So, I mean, or 4-inch legs anyway.
Oh, TMZ.
Bright yellow and green bodies parachuting towards you.
Uh-huh.
According to TMZ, female Joro spiders have leg spans reaching up to 4 inches and are known to use their silk webs to make balloon shapes that allow them to be carried through the air.
Oh, so they don't need parachutes.
Well, they create their own parachute.
Their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. All right.
Can they make balloon animals? Are they available for birthday parties when they're not invading the city?
I hope
Can they get to the suburbs?
They will.
Over in Connecticut, they're party favors.
Dude. They're preparing for the invasion right now. They're busy.
Mm-hmm. Cowboys. Micah Parsons showed up for work today, had some interesting things to say. Let's dive into that. Coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. If you're having any issues at your house with your plumbing or your AC, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899. I tell you guys, if you're dealing with that, call Quartermoon. I did the same thing a couple weeks ago. Got home, house was hot. Didn't take long to realize the AC was hot. AC was out because it was hot in the house. Called 210-651-5899. Quartermoon came out, got me taken care of. That's what they do. They're experts in worst case scenarios, and if you're calling them, chances are it's worst case scenario. At Quartermoon, they do not have commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned the Better Business Bureau, and at Quartermoon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899. 651-5899 or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today.
I learned a lot of life lessons from my dad.
He's been there my entire life, and he's been a great example of what a father should be.
He always embraced and taught me to be a cowboy.
Dad has the weight of the world on his shoulders.
The guy is extremely talented and very knowledgeable.
He's a good man and a strong man who's not afraid to do what he needs to do for his family.
It ain't easy every day, and he dang sure made it look easy.
And I'll always be thankful for that.
Boot barn, keep west.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat?
I don't know. Why?
Peer pressure.
Oh, good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat.
Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minute. Busy day here on the Blitz, whether you're watching online at SA Sports Star's YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, San Antonio Sports Star. If you're listening online, however you may be listening, glad to have you on. A lot of interesting comments on the YouTube about spiders.
The parachuting kind?
The parachuting kind, the kind that are invading New York. The battles are being set. People are asking who wins, the rats or the flying spiders or giant rats? Who wins? That's from Chris Orozco, the Battle of Gotham.
Could be. I mean, you talk about the rats are pretty impressive in New York.
They can be. Bobby said he couldn't figure out the subway in New York. They took taxis. Bobby, I'm not going to call you out, Bobby Signs, but that's just damn embarrassing. It's one thing to say, you know what, I'm not going to take the subways. But it's not complicated to figure out the New York City subway system.
Well, it's easier to get in a cab.
It is easier, but he got into the cab because he couldn't figure out which train to take. It's
easier to take a cab.
It is, but that's not what he said. He couldn't figure out the subway system.
Uh-huh.
That's embarrassing, Bobby. Don't ever admit that. Say you were scared and you wanted to take taxis because they're so much better. Fred Work said we did the subway in D.C. Crazy stuff goes on down there. Yes, it does.
It does. It's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Although you get in a cab in New York City, you never know what you're getting into. I've seen those dudes play bumper cars with each other.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
A lot. Yes.
Yeah, they do.
Although it's one of those cities, kind of like Vegas.
Uh-huh.
Vegas and New York might be the only place where you still just take a taxi. Everywhere else, it's Uber.
Yeah.
And the idea, at least with Uber, I'm being tracked. And I know I'm being tracked, and if I'm uncomfortable, I could share my location. Although, taxi, you just get in and go. You have no idea.
Well, that's what I mean. Sometimes, and we've done this before, coming back from somewhere where the Uber and it's late at night and the Uber taking forever. That's 3 cabs right there.
Yep.
I just walk in, jump in that.
Yeah.
It's not that much difference in price.
It really isn't. There, and I don't know if it's any safer. I mean, the idea that it wasn't that long ago we taught our kids not to get in cars with strangers.
Right.
We were taught that, and now we all do it all the time.
Yeah.
I most of the time when we travel, unless it's work related, I don't rent cars anymore.
No. It's too easy to
Uber everywhere.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you spend about the same, but you don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about anything. You just get in an Uber and go.
Drop you right off.
But Vegas and New York, I think it's still cab is like the main thing. Because again, you walk out and get a cab right away.
Right away.
You know, most cities, you don't have cabs just right there.
No, most you don't. But
And
here at the airport, you do.
in an Uber? Yep. CeeDee Lamb didn't need a cab or an Uber today to get to work because he didn't go.
He didn't.
No.
Yeah, he might have taken a cab or an Uber somewhere else, but
It's
it
possible.
wasn't to the Star.
Now, Micah Parsons did show up for work today. And Mike McCarthy, Cowboys head coach, happy to have Micah show up for the mandatory part after he skipped last week's voluntary part.
Yeah, it's 360. We talked about it this morning in the offensive meeting because, he's a multiple position player. Is he a linebacker? Is he open end? Is he the wide 9? So those types of things. So this is great work for the offense, just from a recognition standpoint. Now we're not in game plan mode where we're making those types of protection adjustments, but this gets you as close to real game situations as possible. And obviously the most important part of it is, where he's going to line and how it affects the other guys, so yeah, anytime the multiple position players, it creates a lot of opportunities for the others, but it's just to see how it all fits together.
So it's great that he's back. And Joe, he also talked to the media today. Now, we don't have this audio yet. And I really debated whether I want to talk about this quote that I read on Twitter or wait until I hear it, because maybe the way it sounds will come across differently the way I'm just reading it. A lot of times you hear something and tone matters, right? I mean, like on a text message or an email, with tweet X, whatever you call it, it just doesn't come quite as much as if you hear it. Like I really think tone would matter here. But according to Michael Galkin of the Dallas Morning News, he is quote tweeting Micah Parsons.
Yes.
All right, Joe, 2 hands. Because heads are about to explode.
Okay, let's hear it.
Micah Parsons said he and new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer haven't spoken directly too much. Quote, honestly, me and Zim have probably said a total of 20 words to each other. He's a very quiet person. All I keep hearing from the coaches is Zim likes it this way. I was like, well, I like it this way. So I can't wait to have my true sit down with him. I think it will be pretty cool because obviously old school mindset, old school mentality. I think he's had a lot of great players, but he ain't ever had a Micah before. It will be fun, and I think it's going to be unique.
Wow. So
like I said, I think tone matters because Mike Zimmer is the boss. And you got Micah saying, all I keep hearing is he likes it done his way.
And he's an old man.
But Micah says, I like to do things my way. Okay. So I can't wait to sit down and figure out whose way are we going with? I mean, how do you interpret that?
Well, that's exactly what he's saying.
Because he's had some great players, but never a player like me before.
Never a Micah.
And that might be true. And now all of a sudden, Micah Parsons is talking third person.
It's interesting. What I would sit down with Mike Zimmer and say, how do I get more sacks in the playoffs?
Okay.
Because he has one.
Yep.
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
Well,
just one.
They've got to move him
One.
around. He also goes on to say, quote,
Is that what he's going to sit down with him?
There's a lot of
Move me around?
similarities on things to how he uses me to how Dan Quinn used me in the system. But he has more twists and turns of how he's going to set things up. Also, there are some things that I've got to get used to, too. It's going to be a compromisable relationship. There's going to be things that he's like, I'm going to give on and I don't give on. That's part of the regime, you know?
So now, please translate this. If I've got this wrong, let me know. Mike Zimmer could tell Micah Parsons to do something. And if Parsons says, nah, I don't feel like doing that, I could do it. Am I reading that wrong?
Well, compromisable relationship.
Compromise.
Compromise.
So, Mike, I'd rather not do it your way. I've got a better way to do it.
There are going to be things he's like, I'm not going to give on. I don't give on. That's part of the regime. Again, like I said, I really want to hear this. I really want to see this.
So you think it will sound better hearing it from Micah?
I don't know if it will sound better, but I'm maybe hoping that something didn't quite translate to Twitter because, you know, it kind of sounds like I don't give a damn what the boss says. I'm Micah Parsons.
What it says.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Compromisable relationship.
So Mike Zimmer,
he's your coach.
Has been in the league for, I don't know, a long time. He's been a head coach of a football team.
Yep.
I don't know. He's got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Cowboys brought him back to be the defensive coordinator to fix things.
Yes.
Why did they bring him back? Why not make Micah Parsons the coach and the player?
Well, I mean,
that's happened before. Yeah, player coaches.
I mean, it's not the 1950s.
Sounds like Micah knows everything, which is something we've known because, you know, he's the only one that plays well. Everybody else sucks.
What I'm curious of is there were times that we would criticize Dan Quinn for being too much of a player's coach. And the players had maybe too much sway, too much power. And now we're swinging the complete other direction with a hard-nosed, old-school, my way or the highway type of coach. And is Micah because he's not a dumb guy by any stretch. Micah Parsons is a very smart human being. Is he? And I am really surprised that they haven't had more communication than they have. If I'm Mike Zimmer, he's the first person I'm on the phone with and want to sit down with. Because if I can get Micah Parsons on board with how I want to do things, then everybody else is going to fall in line because he is a team leader. Just ask him.
He is?
Just ask him.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I thought we had this discussion, and he's not. Doesn't want to be that guy. Well, he just wants to be a player and make, $40 million a year.
I just look at this and, I can't wait to see the compromisable part of this relationship between the two. Because he did throw Dan Quinn under the bus too.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the game plans to move me around. I can't do it myself because, I can only do what the coach calls.
Who is Micah not thrown under the bus?
Micah?
He's the only guy.
Yeah.
He's throwing everybody else under the bus. Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Micah fits right in with the Dallas Cowboys. Drama, arrogance. This is fantastic. I can't wait for training camp.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see Mike out on the field during drills. No, Mike, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to play it this way, Mike. That's my compromise. I don't like where you want to put me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine?
And call an audible?
Yeah. Huh. I would really, honestly. Now, I get in the NBA especially, the players kind of rule the roost, right? They do their own thing. But the NFL, typically, it's not that way. I guess I'm old school.
Coming into a contract year.
I can't imagine Micah saying this stuff out loud because it's getting back to Mike Zimmer.
Oh, absolutely.
And Mike McCarthy.
Absolutely.
And Jerry.
Absolutely.
Do you let that go because Micah's so-called superstar?
This is nothing compared to things that he has said on his podcast. And that's the environment that Jerry Jones fosters up there in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
So let it go. What he says and what he does in the room might be two very different things. I don't know. But what I know about Mike Zimmer, there will be a conversation.
I will.
And there's only one person that's going to talk in that conversation.
I would hope so. But we'll see. I mean, honestly, it's hard to say because, Micah thinks that he's the next whatever, and nobody's going to tell him what to do. I mean, that's the arrogance that I'm hearing from Micah Parsons.
Yep.
It's like, I don't care who Mike Zimmer is. I'm Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the next. I'm going to reset the market. I'm going to do all of this. Huh. Sounds like Micah's got the big head disease. The my poop doesn't stink thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Somehow I knew that your head would explode during that segment.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, everybody's head ought to explode.
It should.
I mean, it really should.
Bubba Rebus on our YouTube. The more I hear from Micah, not a fan anymore. Josh Jimenez with maybe the dumbest comment of the day. If that's not Micah trying to demand a trade to Houston, stop. Stop. Let's talk with 7-time NBA champion Robert Horry next on the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I got a personal question for you. How was your shower this morning? Was it a good shower? Did you feel clean when you got out? If you did, you must have a Connecticut quality water system at your house because really the clean is completely different than if you don't. Connecticut Water Systems is the best in the business. They're made in America. And in South Texas, the water is hard. It is hard. You have to have a quality water system in your house. And there's nobody better than Connecticut. 80% more efficient than competing models. It's a simple design. There are fewer moving parts. Look, your skin, your hair are cleaner. They're softer. Your laundry's going to come out brighter. Then there's nothing to plug in. That's the beauty of this thing. Nothing to plug in, no buttons to push, no timers to set or reset, by the way, and no adjustments to make. And there's not going to be an increase in your electric bill because you don't plug it in. It is incredible. Look, if you've been thinking about a Connecticut water system in your house, now is the perfect time to get that done. You know why? Because Connecticut is going to let you try one of the water softeners absolutely free and with no contract. Let me say that again. You can try a Connecticut quality water softener for 90 days, absolutely free and with no contract. It simply does not get any better than that. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call them. 656-PURE. That's 656-7873. ConnecticutSA.com is the website. Look, you can sing it. Sing it along with me. Connecticut, the last water softener you're ever going to own. Give it a try. Take them up on this deal. It's a crazy deal, I'm going to tell you right now, but take them up on it. 90 days, absolutely free, no contract. 656-PURE, 656-7873.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, day 2 of Dallas Cowboys' mandatory practice activities. Did everybody show? We'll talk about who's there and who might not have been.
And we'll take an early look at the NBA Finals, all that and more. Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Gotta change my oil.
How about new Valvoline Restore and Protect? It restores and protects your engine to run like new.
Get in zone.
It restores your engine to like factory clean?
and protects.
So Valvoline Restore and Protect restores and protects.
Now you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for $37.99.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? Huh? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin and crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay. Jolly good morning.
Ah, close love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English muffin deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price. Prices are higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind. They're at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
This is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor can work with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Plus, specialists in estate planning strategies. So you're not just growing and protecting your wealth, you're sharing it. More at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back to the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, former Spur, 7-time champion Robert Ory, joining us now in the Buyers Barricades guest line. It's finals time to talk about the NBA Finals. Robert Ory joining us here courtesy of Bet Online. Robert, you think about this matchup coming up on Thursday, Mavericks and Celtics. Seems like a great matchup, but at the same time, all the time off between games. You've been to many finals. Does the time off help or hurt?
You know what? It's really hard to say with certain teams. I think it's with both these teams, it's going to help because you allow Porzingis to get healthy, you get Lively to get healthy in that sense. But as far as keeping that rhythm and keep smoothness, I think it's going to probably hurt the Boston Celtics more than anybody because they have a lot of pressure on them. You know, you think about it, they got 4 dudes on their team making over $30 million. They got everybody expecting them to, you know, win number 18, being titles. And so there's a lot of pressure on them. You know, everybody expecting Tatum to be big, win MVP, you know, and then go on to get another big contract like Brown. So all the pressure is on the Celtics to come out and perform, while the Dallas Mavericks are sitting back saying, we're not supposed to be here. You know, we're 5th seed. We playing loosey-goosey, and we're going to use some of that Luka magic to get us over the top.
So, Robert, what do you do if you're in that Boston Celtics locker room and you know the pressure's on and they obviously on paper have the better team, the deeper team? What do you say to each other going into game 1 on Thursday night?
You know, just play loose. You know, don't think about, you know, the naysayers. Don't think about anything but doing your job. You have to go do your job. If your job is to get rebounds, you get rebounds. Your job to lock someone up defense, you lock them up and not let them get their average. It's so many things that go into playing. And, you know, the thing about professional basketball players, they're really good at adapting and learning how to, you know, do whatever situation that can help them perform. And I think, you know, look at the Celtics, even though they're a young team, you know, none of them have won a championship over there other than Drew Holiday. I think it's going to be crucial for those guys to stay together when bad times happen and not rely on the 3 ball so much and learn how to get to the hole like Luka does and get to the foul line to get easy buckets.
Robert Horry joining us here on the Blitz. Robert, take us inside the locker room. The pressure, as you talked about, on Boston. There's one guy on that Celtics team named Jason Tatum that seems to be facing a lot of pressure. Big name player who hasn't been able to lead his team to a championship. We all talk about it. Do they talk about it in the locker room? Does a Jaylen Brown or a Derek White say, dude, don't put pressure on yourself. Give it to me. Let the game come to you. What's the in the locker room conversation like?
I think more so is like, yo, just stay loose. Just play your game. You know, those words are going to be probably spoken most. Just play your game. You know, I remember, you know, playing with, you know, Tim and Shaq and Dream, you know, 3 of the best players that ever played this game. You should say, just play your game. Don't think about it. And you try to make them lose by cracking a joke or, you know, having a conversation, playing some music, whatever it needs to be to get them out of that mindset of pressure. And I think for Jason, he's probably, you know, he's been to the finals. So he's not worried about getting to the finals or doing something of that nature. He's been there. Now it's about getting over that hump. And I think that's, you know, that's going to be the biggest key. It's going to play in his favor that he's been to the final. Even though they weren't successful, he's been there and he understands it.
When you look at a guy like Luka Doncic and what the guy can do, I mean, it seems like everybody knows what he's going to do, right? I mean, you think, but nobody can stop him. What do you do with this guy? Because I think, Robert, clearly he's the best player that's going to be on the floor in this series.
Yeah, he's going to be the most offensively skilled player. You're not the best player because he ain't going to play no defense. I think what you got to do is you just got to get the ball out of his hand. I don't understand how these players and coaching staff keep letting them come off a pick and roll, going one-on-one with a big. And like most dynamic players offensively against a big. I would love that situation. So double team, get the ball in hand, and don't let him get it back. You know, nobody – and everybody says, oh, that's college way to play the game. No, it's not. It's the basketball way to play the game. The most dangerous man court can't be dangerous if he can't catch it. And I know that's easier said than done, but you got enough long, athletic guys in that Boston locker room that can make Luka give it up.
7-time champ Robert Horry joining us here on the Blitz. You look at this series and you know, I kind of lean in Boston as we see her on Tuesday. You might help sway me here. And I look at Boston. I think Boston can win it with Jason Tatum not being the MVP. I don't think the Mavericks can win the finals without Luka being the MVP. Is that a fair or statement or not?
You know what? It's weird that you say that. You know, you remember that guy that played with Steph Curry that won MVP in the finals? that you never thought won MVP. So it ain't always about the major guys stepping up because you forget Jaylen Brown can step up. Drew Holiday has won a championship. You know, Derek White, hell of a player. Not saying he's going to win the MVP, but you never know. And then if you roll over to Dallas Mavericks, you forgot there's a guy that almost won the MVP of the finals on that team, and Kyrie Irving. So I think if you basically just boil down and look at it, it's going to go down. It's not going to be about Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Luka Doncic, or Kyrie Irving. It's going to be about White and Washington. Whoever those three, out of those two, play the best and helps their team by doing the dirty stuff, playing good defense, knocking down big shots, that's going to be the key, because those two guys on each team, the megastars, are going to cancel out each other. It's about those other three, the supporting cast, that's who's going to step up for them.
Robert, I have a feeling you thrived in this situation, but let me ask you, Kyrie Irving going back to Boston, they don't like him very much there, right? He's going to catch a lot of heat, I would think, from the Boston crowd. How does Kyrie handle something like that, or how would Robert Horry handle it?
I would love it. I love people to boo me. I love to be the bad guy. And sometimes I'm the bad guy when I don't deserve to be the bad guy. and that's talking about the city that you live in right now. Like, why am I the bad guy? Because I said somebody else was better than Tim. Why am I the bad guy? Damn. I'm like, I do have my own opinion. And so for me, I just think Kyrie, if you watch him throughout the year, he's playing with a certain calmness. It's like he's coming to his own. He's matured. And you think about it, he can go in a game where he don't take one or two shots in the first quarter. The next thing, everybody's looking like, can you score? The next thing he has 20 in the quarter. He's just playing with a calmness now that only comes with veteran players, where they understand that, it's not about me, it's about we. And you can really, as a basketball player, as a guy who loves the game of basketball, you can sit back and really enjoy what he's doing right now.
What is different about Kyrie's game? I mean, the trade last year, it didn't work. I gave Mark Cuban a lot of credit for at least trying. But to see how Luka and Kyrie have gelled, along with everybody else, the coaching from Jason Kidd and, the way he's running things with the different personnel that's on the floor. But I really think it's all about Kyrie accepting his role on that team. What do you see from an NBA star's perception of the difference in Kyrie this year versus last year or years past during his career?
I think so many people, when you make a major trade like that, you expect the impact to happen immediately. Since I covered the Lakers, you're talking about the trade the Lakers made 2 seasons ago. It took them to the Western Conference Finals. Then it fizzled out this year. Sometimes trade can spark, and sometimes trades are And I think when you got two dynamic guards like Luka and Kyrie, they just ain't gonna have that chemistry right away. They had to develop it over time. And Luka had to know when to get off the ball. Kyrie had to learn how to play with Luka, who dominates the ball. He had to play off the ball. And so I think when people look at it, that's what they had to adapt to. Then also they needed some added pieces. They needed, you needed PJ Washington. You needed Dante Exum. You needed Jaden Hardy. You needed Daniel Gifford. All these guys to come in and impact the game in so many different ways. And that's what it's all about. You think about Tim Duncan, you think about Tony Manu, but it's about the Bruce Bournes, the Malik Roses, those guys that were able to come in and add a punch to the team.
Robert, I got to ask you about a guy here in San Antonio that might very well be the face of the league before too long, Victor Wembanyama. So first of all, your thoughts on him, and then would you, as a veteran player, want to come to San Antonio and play with a guy like that?
I would, just because I know how to play off a dynamic big. But here's the question: this day and age, how many NBA players going to put the ego aside and let this young upstart carry them to a championship? And how many more years is Pop going to coach? There's so many different things that come into play. I think first of all, if I'm coaching San Antonio Spurs, I got to get me a guard. I got to give me a guard that knows how to get the ball to Victor, not take shots because I think I'm the guy of the team. Know your pecking order, and that's what you got to. Yeah, that's what you definitely need on that team. A guard, and you could bring in if you had. Everybody was like, well, you need a veteran leader on that team. No, you don't. If you got a coach that know how to manage, like Pop does, manage a situation, you can do that. Sometimes veterans, they get in the way because they're old and slow, And so I think with a team like this, you just need a good point guard to come in and run the show and to get Victor the ball when he needs it and not think he's the star of the show and take a lot of bad shots like the point guard that they have now.
Mm-hmm. Robert Horry here, courtesy of Bet Online. Check out Bet Online for updated NBA Finals series and MVP odds. along with game-by-game lines and props. Right now, current odds about 70% leaning towards Boston winning the NBA Finals this year. Robert, who's your pick to win the Finals? How many games, and who's winning MVP?
I think it's going to go 7, and I think the Mavericks are going to win it, and I think Kyrie Irving is going to be MVP.
There you go.
I love it.
Robert Ory.
When you bet, you got to go outside the box if you want to really win some money now.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, those are great odds.
This
plus
is true.
190. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Robert Ory trying to make money still.
Absolutely.
7-time NBA champ, former Spur. Robert Ory, always great catching up, my friend.
Hey, I got to make money because I took less money to play for the Spurs. So, yeah, I got to make my money back.
And you're going to get it back by betting the Mavs.
Yeah.
Boy, that's going to go over well in San Antonio, but I hear you.
Yeah, all right.
Appreciate you. Robert Ory, 7-time champ on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com.
Robert Ory. Always love that guy.
Just give me a guard. Veteran players wanting to come play in San Antonio. Let's talk about that coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sure has been hot outside lately, and you know what? That can take a toll on your roof. Yeah, you know how it is living here in San Antonio and South Texas. You know, it's hot and that sun pounding down on your roof day after day after day. It can age that roof. There's no question about it. And so you need to remember Stevens Roofing. Look, you can get them out there. They'll check your roof, make sure everything is okay. If you think maybe the storms that we had this spring did some damage to your roof, they'll come out and check that out as well. Look, they're absolutely the best in the business. There really is only one name in roofing that stands high above the rest. That is Stevens Roofing. Quality roof overhead by Stevens Roofing. It means comfort. It means confidence. It certainly means peace of mind. And it's protection for all of the things that you love. You're in the market for repairs, a replacement roof, an upgrade, or you just need an inspection just to make sure everything is okay. Give you that peace of mind. Call Stevens Roofing. Yeah, 210-785-0994. That's the number to call. You can also get them online at stevensroofing.net. Work with the best. Don't work with anybody else. Stevens Roofing is the best. That's who you want to call. That phone number again is 210-785-0994.
You're locked on the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Introducing Lumi for Men, and we named him Mando. I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman's brother, the inventor of Mando Whole Body Deodorant for pits, packages, and feet. Because we all know our pits aren't the only places we get odor. Mando Whole Body Deodorant is different from anything you've tried before. It stops odor before it starts, powered by our acidified technology. Mando controls odor anywhere you have it. Her patented whole body deodorant formula has over 200,000 five-star reviews. And because Mando has a 60-day stink-free guarantee, you can try Mando risk-free. Give Mando whole body deodorant a try today and smell like the stink-free man you were intended to be.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 555 and get an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, 2 free products of your choice, and ships free with code 555. Go to shopmando.com, code 555, for an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack. That's shopmando.com. Code 555.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textblend.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for a full offer details.
Homeowners, ready to replace your windows or patio doors, but think it's going to be too expensive? Well, think again, because with Renewal by Andersen, you can get top quality, affordable windows and patio doors for no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Just text SCREEN to 200-300 right now for your free in-home window consultation and free price quote. Upgrade your home with new energy-efficient windows and doors installed by certified master installers from Renewal by Andersen and get their best in the nation 20-year warranty. Renewal by Andersen is the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. Act now and get your windows and patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text SCREEN to 200-300. Text the word SCREEN to 200-300. Don't wait. Text SCREEN to 200-300.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included with the activation of a Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Requires in-store activation. Device offer ends 6/9/24. Taxes and fees apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
49ers running back Christian McCaffrey, well, he had 2 years left on a contract he signed 4 years ago in Carolina. The 49ers, though, have given him an extension. Gives him about a $3 million per year raise. Boston Celtics forward Kristaps Porzingis expected to return for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. They will take on the Mavericks beginning on Thursday. And the Cowboys CeeDee Lamb not at camp. Micah Parsons is.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on a Tuesday afternoon.
Happy Tuesday, everybody.
5:02, so most of you off work at this point.
Yeah, or just running out the door.
Some have an hour to go.
Some do.
Some might just be starting.
Some could be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether to say I'm sorry for that or not. I guess you've been sleeping.
I mean,
getting ready.
Somebody tweeted the other day they listen on their way to work.
That's right.
You know.
Wow.
I mean, we got an hour to go. We have an hour to go.
Yeah, we do. We do. So that's all right, though. It's a fun hour. It's 5 o'clock. We got a lot coming up in this hour, including Shireen Williams, Mother Football coming up in about, 15 minutes or so.
And obviously we'll talk with her about Larry Allen, who passed away yesterday or Sunday. News broke yesterday. She wrote a great piece at Pro Football Talk about Larry Allen. And I've known Shireen Williams for a long time, as have you.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And she's been a part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame selection committee for a long time. But her first time as a presenter was to present Larry Allen.
Yeah.
And she wrote about this great story. We'll ask her about it coming up. That's going to be solid.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
And also the idea of CeeDee Lamb not in attendance. Now, It's CeeDee Lamb not in attendance today at mandatory minicamp. The 5 o'clock Sports Center just starts. Big Red, developing story. Yeah, he didn't show up. Brandon Ake didn't show up. He doesn't lead Sports Center.
No, he doesn't.
Other people don't show up. They don't. But it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Of course
it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. And they're also talking about one Micah Parsons as well. So I'm sure we'll get into that too. Lots to talk about with Shereen Williams, no question.
Now, just talking with Robert Ory, former Spur, 7-time champion. You asked the question, Wemby, and how do you build around Wemby? And how quickly do you build around Wemby? And there's a lot of people out there that have ideas. Some are very similar. Some are as drastic as night and day.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating. Now, the night and day is how quickly this can all come together. The reality is, unless you work over there in their front office, you have no idea. You have no idea. I don't want to say I read as much as everybody else does, because there are people out there that listen to this show, and I know all they care about are the Spurs.
That's it.
They don't read anything about the Cowboys or the the Astros or anything else, man. It's just Spurs content 24/7. So you probably do read more than I do, but and more than Joe does. And there are people that are just that. And those people, I think, are more confused now than ever, because as you read the different draft experts, everybody talks about the Spurs options, but nobody says, this is what I'm hearing from the Spurs.
Nobody. Because you're not hearing anything from the Spurs.
Which is the Spurs way.
And I will give the Spurs a lot of credit for that. Leaks coming out of that building are few and far between. And typically, if there is a leak, it's because they wanted it to get out for whatever reason.
Yeah, they could be setting somebody up.
That's possible.
I mean, it's all very possible. So Jonathan Giovanni, who works for ESPN, he's a draft expert for ESPN. We're going to play 2 different sound bites from Jonathan. Were these on the exact same day? Are these both from yesterday? Yeah, both from yesterday, right? One is on the Ringer podcast with Kevin O'Connor talking about the Spurs offseason approach.
I think they want to win. Everything that I hear is that they want to be competitive next year. They want to be in the playoffs. And so they're not looking to make this, like a 2-3 year process where they're in the lottery again next year. They're trying for Cooper Flag. They're tanking games at the end. I don't think that that's something that, maybe that ends up being what happens, but I think for right now, they want to be competitive next year. And that's why I think they're going to be aggressive with that, with those picks, 4 and 8, maybe looking to trade for a veteran, is a guy like Darius Garland. Is he someone that they look at? There's been a lot of chatter about that. And I expect that they're going to look at, I've heard that really nobody on their roster is untouchable except for Victor and Devin Vassell. And so they have some pieces there that they could possibly look to move, and future picks also. So I don't think that they're going to be happy if they're, picking 4th in a year from now again.
The truth is, it's I think the best fit for all of these prospects is probably Victor Wembanyama, right?
Definitely. And every free agent, all the veteran guards that are going to be in the market, they all want to play with Victor.
Everybody's come to San Antonio. Everybody wants to come to San Antonio.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Not all of them. But I like everything that he had to say there.
Yes.
They want to win now. I do think Devin Vassell is touchable if the package is right.
Got to be really right.
Which is fine, but the only untouchable is Victor.
Okay.
Wembanyama is the only one that is untouchable.
Let's imagine the draft picks you could get for that guy.
Yeah. Starting right over. Now, same guy, Jonathan Giovanni. Same day on NBA on ESPN.
They're exploring a lot of different scenarios at this stage, including the possibility of trading down or acquiring another pick. They have a lot of tough decisions to make this offseason with Trey Murray, with DeJounte Murray. You hear, teams like San Antonio possibly exploring the idea of packaging the 4th and 8th pick, maybe to move up to number 1. We have to see how the conversation around Darius Garland plays out. The NBA is at an inflection point right now, and there's a lot that's going to come to a head on June 26th.
Now, the beginning, he's talking about Atlanta with Trey Young and DeJounte Murray, even though he called him, because apparently there's talk about the Spurs could go 4 and 8 to get Atlanta's number 1. Huh? Which I guess that's all a possibility.
Well, it's a possibility for sure. I mean, and I just don't know if either one of those guys immediately will make an impact. We're talking about there's been 2 guys mentioned, right? This Alex Sarr and this Rishashur.
Who?
Yeah.
Worcestershire sauce?
Rishashur, I think is how you say that. I'm sure both great players in their own right. But again, it's going to take some time. That's why I look at the draft and I see, look, if the Spurs want to draft a point guard at 4, for example, great. I'm all for it. And you have the guy, he's got some time to, I don't know, either play behind a Trey Jones or a Garland or whomever, right? And you build for the future. I'm okay with that. But I don't see him using both of those picks. I just don't. I have to believe that they're going to be a little more aggressive than that.
Well, what I'm confused with an ESPN draft expert on the same day, Spurs want to win now. That means you package picks and a couple of players and you get a veteran guy in that's a right now kind of player that you have an idea of what they're going to do. That's ready. And then he goes on the next show, and you know what I'm also hearing? They could go 4 and 8 to get somebody's number 1, and that seems like it's a much slower process. So are they in the win now mode, which is what I want them to be in, or are they, well, if we can get another number 1 overall pick, it might take another year, but boy, these guys could develop over time. We're just going to plant the seeds and water the grass and nurture, and another year of like what we had.
And that's what you would have, wouldn't you?
Well,
I mean, that's exactly what you would have. And you're talking about, again, what, maybe you reach the 30-win mark if you're lucky while these guys are developing. It all depends on the Spurs mindset. Are they comfortable in taking 2 or 3 more years to get back to the mountaintop, or at least be relevant? Or is it a process where, you could get a little bit better this year and move forward? I just don't think it's necessary to wait. I don't
think it's necessary. Well, I don't know what's necessary. That's an interesting choice of word. I don't want to wait. I don't have the patience. And I know Wemby wants to win. Get him a veteran guard that understands you get Wemby the basketball. You're not the shooter. And there was a point last year when the light bulb went off for Devin Vassell. And Pop even defended him. He's a scorer. He's a shooter. He's kind of, stuck in decision-making hell of, do I get Wemby the ball or do I shoot? Because what is your job here? Once February, it felt like Devin Vassell figured it out. And that's when you saw the best of Devin last year and really the best of Wemby last year. Which does put Devin a little bit closer on that untouchable list. At the same time, if depending on who they're talking about, if that costs you a Devin Vassell to get in that guy, that veteran point guard that will do that, then Devin, you were a great Spur. Thanks for your service. Off you go. I don't look at Devin as untouchable. I've got to get something really great in return.
Yeah, I do.
And I'm not saying I want to get rid of Devin Vassell by any stretch, but to me, there's only one guy that is untouchable on this team, and it is Wemby.
I just think Devin Vassell is a guy that, number one, they've got that chemistry, and number two, what's their weakness? Shooting, scoring. And you take Devin Vassell out of the picture, That just weakens that tremendously.
Well, it's not the only move they're going to make.
Well, I'm just saying that look, Devin Vassell's untouchable. I'd be shocked unless LeBron James or I don't know Anthony Edwards or name a big star. Luka comes available. Yeah, Devin, see ya.
So you would get rid of Devin Vassell for LeBron James?
Did I say LeBron James?
You just said LeBron was the first word out of your mouth.
What the hell was I thinking?
Uh-huh.
That's a misstep. It's kind of like that Giovanni guy saying, what'd he say?
Trey Murray.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there.
You love LeBron.
I don't want LeBron here.
You fascinate about LeBron. Just don't want to say anything.
I do not want LeBron. Yeah, that was an argument we had today. LeBron's still a top 10 player in the NBA? Interesting discussion.
It is. Top 10. He's one of the top 15.
Okay.
Top 10?
Top 10 was the question.
He can still play. Yeah.
Just saying. Top 10 is the question.
Yes. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, you know you need to get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. You need your company logo on a nice golf shirt or a fishing shirt, Sam will get you taken care of. If you need uniforms, over 700 uniform lines to choose from, all kinds of industries. If you need T-shirts screen printed, go see Sam. If you need caps done, Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom just waiting for your logo. And he's got all the big cap name brands like Katie Caps, the Richardson 112 style trucker caps, Nike, Pacific, Cap America, great quality caps with your logo on them. Just go see Sam. Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. Nobody has better prices. No order too big, certainly no order too small. You need one item, a dozen items, 25,000 items or more. Sam will get you taken care of. So call 210-824-3900. 824-3900, or better yet, get into that massive showroom down on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
San Antonio's Sports Star.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you one of the nearly 10 million families that own a timeshare? Unfortunately, many families stuck in timeshares have learned the dark side of ownership, as their timeshare ends up being nothing like they were promised. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. If you were lied to when buying a timeshare, you're going to need help. I know this because I once worked as a timeshare salesman, but quit the business and made it my personal mission to help folks get rid of bad timeshares. That's why I put together a timeshare exit information kit to help you understand how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Over 30,000 families have trusted us to get rid of their timeshares. Many started out by simply calling us for the free information kit and are now timeshare free.
To get your free information kit, call Wesley Financial now. Call 800-837-1919. That's 800-837-1919. 800-837-1919.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans. Twisted Tea Brewer Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now at O'Reilly, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Treatment for $9 and receive 2 times O Rewards points. In-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is Andrew Monaco and the Aggies play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a Tuesday afternoon. Let's talk with the great Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk as she joined us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Shireen, so much with CeeDee's contract, Micah's comments today to get into, but I want to start with the passing of Larry Allen and your story yesterday on Pro Football Talk and the induction into the Hall of Fame where you were the presenter. I know, like you, I'm sure everybody just devastated by the news of his passing at such a young age of 52, but the connection that you two shared, something that I don't think most people knew until you wrote about it yesterday.
Yeah, there's a handful of, so I've done this for 28 years, been a Hall of Fame selector, and there's a handful of players in my years that the presenter has stood up and basically done an introduction. Emmitt Smith was one. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Emmitt Smith. The selector sits down. That's it. That's the entire presentation, and everyone cheers. And you probably can think of the people who have gotten that treatment, John Elway and Bruce Smith and Deion Sanders, and there've been a handful. There haven't been that many. Peyton Manning was one, but even like Ray Lewis was discussed. So it was my first official presentation of a player, and I didn't want to mess it up. So I was really scared to just stand up and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present Larry Allen," because Will Shields was also up for that class. And when I knew Larry was going to go in, was I did my presentation. And before I'd done my presentation, John Madden called the Cowboys and asked to speak to me because he wanted to say something to put in my presentation. And so I talked to John Madden, the Cowboys set it up, talked to John Madden, and John Madden said, "Hey, so the 2 greatest guards in NFL history were John Hanna and Larry Allen in no particular order. You take 1A, 1B, however you want to argue, but those are the 2 greatest guards in NFL history." Now, John Madden, for those who don't know, was the ultimate authority in offensive line play. Like, whatever he said was the gospel. And so I obviously had that in my speech and had where he said, I don't know a player who ever relished going up against Larry Allen, and I don't remember Larry Allen ever losing a battle. And that was Larry Allen on the field, obviously. So I did this presentation. I don't know, it was probably 6 or 7 minutes. And then a couple people spoke, but it was really a pretty short, presentation and follow-up there. So I knew I was in pretty good shape. And then Will Shields went next, and his presenter stood up, and it was Randy Kovitz, and he presented Will Shields and had and it was crickets after the presentation. Crickets. No one said anything. I was like, oh, we got this. Because you do compare players at positions. There's no question about that. And so sure enough, he makes it first ballot and probably didn't even need the presentation, which was my point in my column that I wrote. But after he learned that he had made the Hall of Fame, I come out the door and he's standing there and his eyes get big and he sees me and he says, he's always a soft-spoken guy. He says, "Can I hug you?" And I smiled and I said, "Of course." And so he squeezed me. I probably disappeared in his 350 pounds or whatever it was. And he lifted me off the ground and he just whispered, "Thank you." And I said, "Look, I didn't do anything. Like, you made the case yourself. You're one of the greatest of the greats. And you did this. I didn't do this." And I didn't put this part in there. It was kind of funny because after his presentation, go to his party that night. He says, "Hey, I'm really sorry." I said, "What are you sorry about?" He said, "I didn't mention you in my speech." And what he had said was, "I want to thank the selectors, for picking me." And he said, "I didn't mention you by name." I said, "Larry, that doesn't matter. Like, I didn't need a thank you at all. Again, you did this." And he goes, "I was really scared I was going to screw up the pronunciation of your name, and I didn't want to do that." And so he was just a fabulous guy and soft-spoken and just, the gentle giant off the field, and obviously wasn't like that at all on the field, but loved him immensely, and grateful that I got to spend time with him and got to know him a little bit because he was a heck of a guy.
I tell you, Shireen, it was a great article, and just all the comments that we heard from former Cowboy players were just, you shed a tear, and it really was. And Jason and I talked about this yesterday. It was kind of a kick in the gut to hear that news, and it was really sad. I remember watching him play, and he was just dominant. The guy was fantastic. All right, how about current Cowboy players? CeeDee Lamb, not at camp, mandatory minicamp. Are you surprised?
Not at all. And I won't be surprised if he doesn't show up to training camp either if they don't have a deal done by then. I think that's the deadline is the opening of training camp. And if they don't get it done then, he's going to pull a Zach Martin and not show up and take the fines and hope that he gets a good deal. And the question will become, if they don't get it done in training camp and through the preseason, whether he continues to hold out into the season and forces Jerry's hand, which we have obviously seen players do before, push it all the way. We saw Zach Martin last year push it into the middle of training camp. We saw Emmitt Smith sent out the first two games, different than, I understand, different CBA, but nonetheless, the Cowboys caved after they started 0-2 that season, and Emmitt comes back and wins the MVP award, and things turn out great for the Cowboys when they win the Super Bowl and he gets Super Bowl MVP. But, even more recently, we saw it with Ezekiel Elliott holding out of training camp to the end, and the Cowboys overpay for Ezekiel Elliott and give him a better contract. I mean, the clock is ticking. They really need to get this thing done by the start of training camp to their benefit. They've already waited too long. We saw what Justin Jefferson got. Not that I expect CeeDee Lamb to get more than what Justin Jefferson got, but you look at A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson in the comparison, and I think it's going to have to be more than A.J. Brown got.
Shireen, the fact that Justin Jefferson's deal got done, and it feels like he's the best wide receiver in football. He would set the market and maybe the ceiling. Now that leaf has fallen, to steal the line from Jerry Jones, does that speed up the process for CeeDee to get a deal done with the Cowboys?
It should, based on the comments of Rich McKay and Jerry Jones, because they flat out said that's kind of what they were waiting on, which is really stupid because, and maybe it was CeeDee doesn't want to do the deal, but the sooner you do a deal, the less money you're going to have to pay. And the Cowboys always seem to wait too long on these deals. But they have waited, and now Justin Jefferson has set the ceiling on things, so they have fallen, as you said, Jerry Jones said. So they should get a deal done. It shouldn't, honestly, it shouldn't take that long. You have the A.J. Brown, the guaranteed money, which was 85 million, something in that range. I think it was 82 million. That's going to be key. It's going to have to be more than the guaranteed money that the Eagles gave A.J. Brown. And then you're going to compare the contract. It's going to be lower than Justin Jefferson. So you have where he's going to be slotted in. You know what that contract's going to have to be. And so there really, honestly, shouldn't be that much negotiating. It's set now. They should get that thing and get it done, obviously, before training camp and sooner rather than later. There's not that much to negotiate. You have where it's going to end up is between those two players.
You know, Shireen, it's going to be interesting to see it, and it always is. And I can't figure out what the Cowboys are doing. And then with the Christian McCaffrey situation today, it looks like that maybe they did that for a Brandon Ayuk contract. Or it seems to me that's paves the way for something like that. And the Cowboys just don't seem to be able to get that stuff done, which is kind of frustrating for sure. And then you hear Micah Parsons today. I don't know if you've read any of the comments. He spoke with the media, and it really seems like I haven't heard his tone of voice, so I will preface by saying that. But you read the transcripts, and it almost is defiant in a lot of ways to Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, I think based on what David Moore wrote last week that Michael was not a lead. And then I'll say this: I didn't read the whole story. I read the headline and et cetera, but you could just read the headline and it talked about Micah Parsons not being a leader. And I'm sure that set him off somewhat in some of his comments today. I'm guessing that set him off a little bit. I'm sure he's seen it. I'm sure he's read it. I don't know if he referred to it. No, I haven't read all of his comments today. I've just read some of them, what DallasCowboys.com had and what we put up off of DallasCowboys.com. But yeah, I think there was some of that, and I understand what he's saying. It's worked for him to do it his way, and it's not that different from what he did last year. Now, he did come back for start of OTAs last year, and this year he did not. He obviously waited till the minicamp to come back, and you could tell last week that Mike McCarthy was not happy that he was not there, but it is voluntary. And until they make it mandatory or change the schedule, which the NFLPA is trying to do for next year to get rid of all this stuff, then it is voluntary, and they can choose to show up or not show up. And it's kind of what they do. Lamar Jackson has done the same thing now 3 years in a row. He hadn't shown up, and the Ravens aren't happy about that, but it is voluntary. So, Mike will be fine once the season starts. He is vastly underpaid. I wouldn't expect him to get a new contract before the start of the season. Vastly underpaid at $2 million this year. But they'll take care of him at some point. They'll have to. And again, longer they wait, price is only going to go up.
And it's exactly, it's the name of the game. And Jerry just always waits and always pays more. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk. One of the things that Micah did say today, Michael Gelkin from the Dallas Morning News tweeted out, and I've seen other people tweet, and again, I don't know if he was saying this in a joking way or what, but Mike Zimmer well from his time in Dallas as a head coach with Minnesota and now that he's back. And I'm paraphrasing Micah here, but, he said Zim likes it this way. I was like, well, I like it that way, with stuff that he keeps saying that he's hearing from Mike Zimmer. Said today he might have said a total of 20 words with Mike Zimmer, which kind of surprises me that, I don't know, that wasn't the first meeting that Mike Zimmer had with a player, but also said it's going to be a compromisable relationship. Knowing Mike Zimmer the way you do, and I've talked to other guys that have played for Mike Zimmer, I don't know how much compromising there really is when it comes to Mike Zimmer. So when Mike reads these quotes, how do you think Mike Zimmer will respond to quotes he's hearing from his star defensive player?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect very well, knowing Mike Zimmer, but, he also knows that that's his best player on his defense and can really change things for his defense. So I agree. They'll come to some sort of compromise and they'll work things out, and it'll all be fine once the season starts and then they get on with it. But I'm sure Mike was not happy at all that he wasn't there during OTAs and learning this new defense and all of that. But, Micah did what's best for him. So there is some of that. I mean, he's right. You have to be, especially if he doesn't have a contract and doesn't have all his guaranteed money, he has to take care of himself, and he has to think of himself and being on the field. And he has stayed pretty much injury-free. He has played, been in the lineup almost every week. I know he had the COVID his rookie year, but he's been there for the Cowboys, and he's done those things. So it's hard to disagree with the way that he's trained in the offseason, because it seems to have worked for him and what he's done in his first 3 years in the NFL. So they'll work it out, though. The best player is going to play for the Cowboys. The best player is going to play well for the Cowboys. We've seen that for 3 years. I don't think any of that changes. But he's going to be much happier when he gets paid, and Mike Zimmer will be much happier with Micah Parsons when Micah Parsons gets paid and shows up all the time.
Follow her on Twitter at NFL Shireen, read her at Pro Football Talk. Shireen Williams, always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. The great Shireen Williams on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com.
Going to be interesting. I love the way she puts things. You know, Shireen's always got a great insight, but it's, it's
Mother football.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Great article, her column on Larry Allen. If you didn't read it, go read it. It really, and again, if you know Shireen, she's small.
She is.
So Larry Allen picking her up and hugging her, and she disappears. I could totally see that.
No question about it. But she gets to know these players, and they all love her. I mean, so that's just kind of the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk some Cowboys coming up.
Sure.
The difference in tone from Mike McCarthy, depending on where you're at business-wise. I understand the business side of football. You will too. Coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available to you 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. At my house, I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects, from adding extra outlets in the garage, motion light over one of the grills outside, dimmer lights in the living room. They do it all. I saw their van was here at the radio station the other day. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. They've got the right service for you at the right price. But one of the great things with Hill Electric, there is never a service charge and always free estimates. So it costs you absolutely nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done. Call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or hill-electric.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, day 2 of Dallas Cowboys' mandatory practice activities. Did everybody show? We'll talk about who's there and who might not have been.
And we'll take an early look at the NBA Finals, all that and more. Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
Hi, everybody. Scott Innes here. For 25 years, I've been voicing lovable cartoon dogs like Scooby-Doo, Astro. Hey, I love puppies and dogs. And now I get to help pets that need a voice to save their lives. That's where the Puppy Food Bank comes in. The Puppy Food Bank helps pet rescue organizations so they can feed puppies. For just $11 a month, you can save a pet's life. Go to puppyfoodbank.org now and donate, and they'll send you a nice gift. Puppy Food Bank is proudly supported by Thomas J. Henry.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign. all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax. Touchdown! A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Introducing Lumi for Men, and we named him Mando. I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the inventor of Mando Whole Body Deodorant for pits, packages, and feet, because we all know our pits aren't the only place we get odor. Mando Whole Body Deodorant is different from anything you've ever tried before. It stops odor before it starts, powered by our acidified technology. Mando controls odor anywhere you have it. My patented whole body deodorant formula has over 200,000 five-star reviews. And because Mando has a 60-day stink-free guarantee, you can try Mando risk-free. Give Mando whole body deodorant a try today and smell like the stink-free man you were intended to be.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 1515 and get an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, 2 free products of your choice, and ships free with code 1515. Go to shopmando.com, code 1515 for an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack. That's shopmando.com, code 1515.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
I'm AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6. What's the latest with the Cowboys? And are they even ready for the season? It's all right here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. You know, we're going to have to talk to those boys in the morning.
Yeah.
Specifically, AJ Hoffman. Because he's the new guy here.
He is, yeah.
And apparently he thinks our studio is cold. Because I'm guessing it's AJ. Because like we walked in today, it was like 78 in
like
here.
a sauna in here.
And it takes it a while to cool down.
Uh-huh.
Rob's been, I know Rob isn't messing with that thing. So I'm going to assume AJ. Because he's also bitched that it's really cold in here. The oven is on. See this tweet from Sarah Spivey?
No.
From KSAT? Hottest heat index ever on record for San Antonio.
Wow.
The heat index climbed to 117 today. This beats the old record of 116 set in June of late last year.
How about that?
That means we've seen the hottest heat index record recorded in San Antonio 2 years in a row.
But it's only June.
It's only June.
It's early June.
The oven is on, people.
Wow.
The oven is officially on. And look, AJ, at 10 o'clock as you're leaving, you clean everything up, turn the air back down.
Maybe we give that dude a nice quilted blanket. He could sit there and maybe knit while he's doing the show and, get him some earmuffs and
Well, I'm curious
House shoes.
I'm just curious, how does Rob deal with that?
I don't know.
Because I've known Rob a long time, and there's been times where Rob will freeze me out of this studio.
Yeah.
My guess is Rob's being nice to the new guy.
It's a new guy. It's a honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
got to
think
be
that-
what it is.
You think there's some of that?
It's got to be the honeymoon phase. But I bet if AJ would appreciate that if we showed up with a box with a nice quilted blanket.
Give him one of the old station jackets.
Yeah, well, we could do that. I could see him though with a nice blanket wrapped around him, and
like
it kind of reminds me of somebody in Phoenix.
Well, what are you saying, Pledge? Why would Shelton do that? Why are you trying to defend AJ Hoffman? Pledge writes on our screen, or is it Shelton turning it up in between shows? Shelton doesn't come into a studio if he doesn't have to.
Exactly. It might be work to do.
Shelton is not the air conditioner police. All right. Should we just make an executive decision here between us here on the Blitz that Pledge, part of your job as the producer when you get in every morning, is to make sure the studio is cooled down to a bearable temperature before we walk in here?
Oh, it felt good when I was in there hanging stuff up earlier.
Dude, it was hot.
You're wearing a shirt and a tie. Yesterday, you were wearing a members-only jacket. I don't know if you understand
the hottest days of the year.
What cold is. Today, you've got a sweater. You are a piss-poor example of what feels good. You come in there, and if it doesn't say 72 on that thing, you get it to where it says 72. How about we do that and not go by your feels? Is that better?
I like that idea.
Is
Good
that
idea.
Is that now Pledger's?
It's a great idea, Pledge.
Is that now Pledger's responsibility?
Yes. I think that's a great idea.
I think it said 72 when I walked in there.
It didn't. We walked in, it was 78, 79. It was stupid.
It was up there. I don't know if it was that high, but it was up there. It was higher than 75.
I thought, honestly, I want to say it was 78.
It may have been.
Might have been 79.
I turned it down.
Because you turned it down, and then you were complaining, said, "Oh, I already turned it down." And when I looked over, it was 78, and it was starting to come down. So
I tell you what, man, the conditions, the working conditions around this place.
I mean,
unbelievable. How do we do it?
It's a shared space.
How do we do it?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I have no idea how we get it done. But 117 heat index today. I don't know what the actual temperature was today. But if you're out doing stuff, stay hydrated.
Yeah, please. Mix in a little water.
Yes. I'm sure we'll hear that from Dr. Christian Balden.
I'm sure we
as
will.
we do our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Online at tsaog.com. Dr. Balden joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Doc, hottest heat index ever on record for San Antonio. We set the record today, the heat index at 117.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. It's definitely toasty.
How cold do you guys keep a typical operating room?
Well, there's actually pretty stringent rules on that, and for good reason. So it's fairly cold. I mean, it's certainly below 70 degrees most of the time, and really more important than that is the humidity. We really monitor the humidity and keep it low as well.
Well, hey, you're onto something here, because our morning show guys turned up the air today. It was like 78 when Ryan Engel and I came into the studio, which was unbearable. So we need to put operating room rules in. What give us some reasons why the rules are so strict in an operating room that we could apply to a radio studio?
Well, in regards to your studio, that's going to be a nice increase in your budget to ensure you keep up with the standards of an OR. But for the operating room, it's important just for infection control and making sure everything stays sterile. So we're very stringent on that, and those are specific rules in place for every operating room.
So the colder it is, the better it is to keep away infections?
Well, no, not necessarily, but you don't want to keep it, too cold, but it needs to be within a certain a certain range in order to minimize the chance for bacterial growth and so forth.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Operating rooms are
Wow.
always cold. I just,
Well, I'd like to have it colder in here to keep away the infections.
Rules for the studio. Doc, as we get ready for the start of the NBA Finals, Kristaps Porzingis is expected to be ready. excuse me, for Game 1 coming up Thursday. He's been out a while, dealing, with his injury, a right soleus strain, basically a calf strain, right? He should be good as much
That's
time
it.
as he's been off.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's been out since the very end of April, I believe. So, it's a calf strain. It's a deeper muscle versus the gastrocnemius, which is more superficial, but it's all part of the calf muscle. He should be able to be back at this point. I'm sure if they really needed him last series, they would have played him. So I expect him to play this series for sure.
Well, that may not be good news for the Dallas Mavericks, but we'll see how that all goes. When you talk about Major League Baseball pitchers, and there's an Astros, and I'm going to screw up his name. You're Quiddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he could need a second Tommy John surgery. And I'm thinking, Doc, that's not good, obviously, because Tommy John surgery, well, I'll let you explain it. You're the expert, but I mean, that's a pretty major deal.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, it's a major deal anytime you go through it at one time, and to potentially have to go through it a second time, it's tougher to come back from, and the results aren't necessarily as good. And what a Tommy John surgery is really the ligament on the inside part of the elbow that stretches because of the torque and all the velocity they put the players put on their pitches, and the elbows see a lot of strain. And so if he's not doing well coming back from his initial surgery, it sure is going to be tough for him if you have to go through this again and come back from a second Tommy John. That's going to be rough.
It does seem like the Astros medical staff are trying to figure out every which way to avoid him having another Tommy John surgery. They said it was this. They said it was that. He actually was playing in a AAA game, making a rehab start, and they had to pull him from it. Is it just one of those, like his career just essentially might be done at this point?
It's hard to tell without actually examining the individual, but it's certainly concerning. I think they reported a lot of forearm tightness, which is never good in a pitcher that's coming back from Tommy John surgery. It's a concern that his mechanics aren't right. He's still having maybe some gapping on that ligament that they reconstructed, and so if he truly has to undergo a second surgery, that's going to be, as I said, really tough for him to come back.
Well, and that first surgery was done last May. So we're just talking about a year, which I feel like seems like a pretty quick return when you think about most Tommy John. So if there is a second surgery needed, would it be a full Tommy John, or is there a way to go in and fix the repair that was already made, if that makes sense?
Yeah, again, it's going to be depending on what it looks like when they get in there. I'm sure the MRI, anytime you get an MRI on a joint that's had prior surgery, there's a lot of artifact, and it's, sometimes difficult to ascertain exactly what's going on. So you have to rely on the clinical exam, potentially some stress x-rays. And then really when you do your dissection, if you end up having to go back in, then you can assess things and do a dynamic examination during the actual surgery. So they may end up getting away with just something smaller, such as an internal brace or and a repair of the prior structure. But, it would be a game time decision depending on what the exam is and what they see on his imaging, such as the MRI.
All right, Doc, I'm going to throw this out there and see if maybe I can get a little free advice.
Here we go.
On my left elbow.
Oh, boy.
I was doing some tricep exercises this morning, and now it's a little swollen on the elbow right here and a little sore on the tip of it. Is that anything I should be worried about?
It just started today. I would just take some Advil and see if it's still there in a week.
Good advice, Doc. That's why you're the best in the business.
Yeah. That's it. Advil, rub some dirt on it, you old man.
I'm just saying it's
maybe you should go from the 15-pound weight back to the 10.
It's a little swollen. Somebody was saying like a bursa sac. Is that something that's real?
Yeah, it absolutely is. You can get what's called on the tip of the elbow olecranon bursitis, a swelling of the bursa that sits right over the tip of the elbow there and the triceps tendon. And you can definitely get some swelling and irritation of that and what's called bursitis or inflammation of that sac. So Very, very common. A lot of times it look like a golf ball on the tip of the elbow. For that, I would put heat and Advil and just immobilize and give it some time. And if it's still there in a week or two, let us know.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
you go. There
Thanks,
you go.
Doc. I appreciate that.
Speaking of arm injuries, Anthony Richardson, quarterback of the Colts, said he's about 95% right now. When you think about a quarterback especially, do you get the 95% or is it one of those your jumps, you're ready to go? Like, how do you determine percentages with an athlete, but especially a quarterback talking about his shoulder?
Yeah, you want the athlete himself to feel 100% for sure before you let him go back. And if he doesn't, he's still apprehensive and really, not confident enough to go out there and perform at his level that he needs to. So I think if he says he's at 95%, that's a great sign. But I wouldn't feel confident in putting him on the field and letting him, fully play. There's a lot of different dynamic and appropriate evaluations you can do to see if a player is ready, regardless of the injury, whether it's a shoulder, elbow, knee, hip, etc. So you want to try to get as much objective evidence as you can from a physician and a coach standpoint. And then you have to have the confidence in the athlete to really feel that he's ready to go back and play from a mental standpoint, physical standpoint, and just feel like he can endure, the competition of the game.
Always great stuff, Dr. Christian Baldwin. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, guys. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. Injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at TSAOG.com. Dr. Baldwin and all our guests on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. You think about the NBA finals start Thursday. The Stanley Cup finals start Saturday. Okay. There's one reason, well, two reasons that Joe Reinagle is interested in hockey. And that was the chick from the Edmonton Oilers who was caught on camera flashing her boobs, right? What surprises me is TMZ just posted a story. The internet has yet to identify this lady, which is a bit remarkable. Yet OnlyFans and another porn site have offered this woman deals if they can identify her.
Wow. Well, I mean, maybe she's got an agent. She could reach out to one of those and see how much it is before she resurfaces.
Well, but you would think that, I don't know, in Edmonton, somebody recognized them or her, right? I mean, she had good seats.
She did, yeah. She did. Yeah, you're right. Somebody recognized them. And I mean, the whole world's already seen them. So you might as well get paid now.
Well, I mean, the bizarre part of the story is not that some porn site or whatever is trying to get publicity by saying, hey, those boobs look like they're made for porn. That the internet in Edmonton hasn't identified her yet. A lot of times when something like that happens, within hours, this person will be outed on the internet.
I bet the Oilers know exactly who it is because they know they could probably know what seat that is and knew who sit there.
So the detective work that's going on in the ticket office?
Dude, that was going on right after they saw that video. You kidding me?
Who? She?
Well, I like porn. Yeah, there was some young dude in there that went, woo-wee!
Yeah.
Who is that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to the ticket lady.
Mm-hmm. Just saying. I mean, for those of you needing a reason to watch hockey, there were two.
Well, there's no guarantee you're going to see that again.
If you're the Edmonton Oilers, you do what you can to make sure she's got tickets to the game.
Who's favored in that series?
I don't know.
No?
I my guess is Florida.
Yeah.
I haven't really paid much attention since the Stars got eliminated. Edmonton has the best player. Florida has the best team.
Kind of like Dallas and Boston.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
So whether you're talking about game one of the NBA Finals Thursday or the hockey coming up Saturday, and you think about, if you get another scene like that, no better place than the Roo Pub with those three massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around, basketball, hockey, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up